No, but listen to, did you hear the press conference of Seleke Kromah, the IG? He did say that this is a highly political case, did he not? So you don't take the partisans' word for it, you take the IG's word for it.
We elect on 85 irresponsible men what happened to our country. We elect on 85 irresponsible men to govern this country, not to be very irresponsible.
Please place your left hand on the Bible being held by your wife, and you will kindly raise your right hand, sir, and repeat after me. All standing, please. I, Joseph Newman Boyka Sr.
No secret now that your friend and former boss will be a candidate in 2029. With all of that you experience, all of that you know, and everything that you see unfolding in the country now, will you support him? Will you be part of the process? Will you give him the support? Do you think he can be a better president?
So why you want to bring political Benin in it now?
Oh, but you political you're political man, before you go out, very active.
I plead the fifth again.
Okay. When 2029 come and pass, then you finally leave. Mission is completed. Now, what the rules of engagement? When the war ended, the guy said, the captain, the commander said, mission complete. There wounded out first. All men on board.
So, this riot situation when it comes across it, because many times you notice that
if Charles Taylor is the problem, he will be out of here in the twinkle of an eye. And I say, let well-meaning Liberians come home. If we respect this constitution, a government formed in Accra is a violation of Article 1 of the Constitution. Let them come home. Let that government be formed in Monrovia.
On the broadcast administration, we want to give the government of Liberia an ultimatum of 72 hours to provide a living ballot of the chairman of the Student Unification Party, or else there will be a catastrophic pneumonia in the Republic of Liberia. To arrest the chairman of the Student Unification Party, only because the government feel intimidated about the Vanguard Party advocacies.
The government got capital road, small, B road, all kinds of places. I think the reason Joseph Baker will not do much because the old man, the papa is suffering. The papa loves the country, but he can't make it. The criminal there around him, they sophisticated than him. They are sophisticated criminals, so they can't make it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You know that's my favorite part of all the snippets of the news. Welcome to the closing argument. I am Jerome Gayman. I am tuning in from the great state of Florida, and we are fans of the Miami Heat and the Miami Dolphins. We love our University of Miami, we love our University of Florida, and we definitely love the Florida State University. We are a great state for sports. Football, basketball, you name it. Florida is up there. And don't forget, we have the greatest soccer player of our time, Messi, is playing in Miami. If you visit the United States and you have not visited Miami or South Florida, you have not visited the United States, my friends. You need to visit Miami when you visit the United States. You need to visit Florida. I will tell you exactly why folks visit Florida. And let me just Google real quick and talk to you about why you need to visit Florida. And for those of you who are trying to build a Liberian tourism sector or sectors, you need to visit here and see what is it that we do. Florida this year set an all-time record for visitors in 2024. 143 million people came to Florida to see what is it that we do here. Why is that? They love the state of Florida. Why? So if you are doing your visit, you planning your trip to the great United States from Liberia or anywhere else in West Africa, put Florida on your schedule. You can visit our beaches, our clubs. You can visit the world's greatest attraction, Disney World. Disneyland is here. You can visit the Great Palm Beach. You can visit Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, Tampa. Or you can visit the state capital in Tallahassee. The great state of Florida. If you want to be a tourist, if you want to start a tourism industry, this is where you need to visit. Come and see how they do it here. Do me a favor, share this show. I know we have problem with our time. Our time went back 1 hour. So for most of you, you are still at work. Some of you are driving. If you are an educator on the East Coast, you are just getting off work. If you are a regular guy like me who has a job, you still have an hour to go. You can listen to us while you are driving, while you are sitting in traffic. Our friends at Care Radio, our folks over the globe that are listening to us through Truth FM 96.1 FM. We want to say hello to our friends in Nimba, Seleke in particular, or Gompa City, or Yekepa. When I was growing up, it was Yekepa. If you are tuning in for Grand Bassa County, my hometown, my home county, Buchanan, I say welcome. District number 3, compound number 3, compound number 4, compound number 1. Welcome to the closing argument. And thank you for being with us for the whole week. You got one more day. Then tomorrow, we're going to have this beautiful setup. Miss Telvina Cole and a core group of professional women and men will be here to discuss breast cancer. We have to reschedule Honorable Dolores Hogan Johnson because of the change in schedule or change in time. She's going to readjust her schedule to join us next week, Thursday. The second hour of the show, she will join us the second hour, not 4 o'clock here, but will be 5 o'clock their time. So she can come and tutor us, lecture us, and take questions on legislation, how it is done here in the United States, from the federal to the state and the city. Share the show. Let someone know that the closing argument is on. And for most of our friends that have traveled to Liberia, if you are tuning in, I won't call the name for security reasons. We want to thank you for listening. You know, one of the legends of Liberia, Mozart Dennis, has always tuned in to listen to what's happening in Liberia and what's happening around Africa, because we do touch on most of the stuff. For instance, today we are going to be touching on what the RCC is saying about the past elections in Tanzania and the amount of killings that went on in Tanzania. This is done in honor of female. According to the report, she won 98% of the vote. 98% of the vote while the country is burning. How is it possible in these modern days that a candidate in a big country as Tanzania is going to win 98% of the votes? All the major opposition leaders, she incarcerated them, put them in jail. Some disappeared at night. But like they say in the United States, whatever a man does, the world can do better. You think you got dictators in Africa? Look at this woman. She is showing you that whatever you guys do to stay in power, she can even do it better. So the ICC have begun to investigate a woman that is the president of the rising star in Africa, Tanzania, under the late John Magufuli. When John Magufuli died, he bequeathed constitutionally the presidency to his vice president. Boy, did she put up a show. The ICC is investigating. Let's go to the home front. If the law in Liberia says that NOCAL can only lease or sign contract for 7 years, so why is NOCAL giving out contract for 10 years? How is that possible? The present administration announced that they were bringing several buses, maybe 30 or so. And when the media show up, only 10 roll out. What's going on in Monrovia? The Republic of Liberia. Let's look at what the former, actually the present Speaker of the House, Bokon admits he was not a legitimate speaker amid the legislative impasse. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Cohn, has admitted that he was not the legitimate speaker all along. This article was published November 5th. That's what yesterday, 2025. Zewita, Bon County, House Speaker Richard Combs publicly confessed recently that he was not the legitimate Speaker of the House of Representatives during the month-long impasse that crippled the function of Liberia's lower chamber earlier this year. Speaker Combs made a confession at a dedication of a pipe-borne water project in Bon County District Number 1, an initiative spearheaded by Representative Prince Kona. He said the power struggle at the legislature was a fight for legitimacy, raising concerns that his previous claim to the speakership was self-proclaimed. We had our own little struggle at the House. We were struggling to gain legitimacy, Combs admitted, acknowledging the prolonged crisis that divided the House into rival factions. During the political standoff, Combs and his majority bloc had insisted that he was their rightful speaker and began holding paralyzed sessions, rejecting the authority of Speaker J. Fodati Kofa, who had been duly elected by the 55th legislature. The dispute effectively paralyzed legislative operation for several months, prompting Speaker Kofa to seek intervention from the Supreme Court of Liberia. The court ruled that the action of Combs and his bloc were ultra-vires, beyond the legal authority, and reaffirmed Kofa as the legitimate speaker, but also noted that his lack of quorum meant nothing legal could be done. So the speaker finally coming out and saying, I was never the speaker proper all along. All along, I was never the proper speaker. All along, I was never the speaker. But we are getting news from Bon County that the well that the speaker dedicated has gone dried already. What is going on in Liberia? We are going to investigate. It is our job to bring it to you as it is, as it happened raw. We report and you decide. We will give you the facts and you can fact check us. That's what sets us apart from everybody else. Leah pledges to reshape Nokal into active driver of Liberian petroleum growth. That's the leader of Nokal. This was published November 6. The Liberian investigator, Capitol Hill Monrovia Nokal president and CEO designate Fabian N. Lyde says he intends to overhaul the National Oil Company of Liberia from a largely dormant institution into an active, transparent, strategically competitive player in the oil and gas sector, if confirmed by the Senate. Appearing before the Senate Committee on Hydrocarbon, Energy, and Environment, Leah set out a vision to reposition Nokal as a fully integrated national energy company with stronger state ownership, improved data control, and expanded commercial activity across the petroleum value chain. Nokal must evolve from a passive holder of assets into a dynamic engine of national development. Leah told the senators, our oil and gas resources might work for every Liberian, from the wellhead to the gas pump and beyond. Leah said his leadership will be guided by 5 overreaching principles: securing Liberia's petroleum data as a strategic national asset, increasing state participation and value capture, build partnership that include Liberian stakeholders managing upstream and downstream in an integrated manner, and developing a highly skilled Liberian workforce. He outlined a 7-part operational blueprint built on 10 strategic focus areas. Central to his plan is the establishment of a unified geoscience data repository within 12 months to consolidate seismic recordings, field histories, and basin analysis. He said the company will also complete a 3D seismic reprocessing by May 2026 and launch a publicly accessible petroleum data platform within 2 years to improve transparency for investors and policymakers. That is NOCAL. They come to us with all these fabulous plans. And like my former professor, Dr. Ducocker, used to say, the easiest part of any business is writing a business proposal or a plan. He said, but we look at the implementation. We also agree that Liberia is not lacking in writing beautiful proposals. We do that very well, glossily too. But can we implement? Can we take it from paper, from the drawing board to the road, so Liberians can see what we are talking about, the jargons, the oil languages he's speaking? How do we understand this? How does the regular Liberian on the street understand what is it that he's talking about? Like we say here, if you don't want to be discussed, don't get in the news. As long as you are on the front pages of the newspaper, you will be a subject of discussion here. You may not like it, but that is not our job. Our job is not for you to like us. Our job is to be the finders of truth and present them as they are. And then I have to follow that with a disclaimer. After I have read and presented the facts, the opinions of our panelists are exclusively theirs and not the endorsed opinion of the closing argument. So let's look at what's happening in our different counties. What's happening in Grand Bassa County? My hometown, the people of Grand Bassa County are calling on the leaders. They are demanding more. They are calling upon the leaders that as second county in the republic, like Bassa deserve better. No other county besides Montserrat that can boast the wealth of Grand Bassa County. We have the second largest port. We have the Liberian Agriculture. We have LAC. We have Palm Bay. We have ArcelorMittal and many other companies. So what's holding Bassa back? Why are we so backward? The young people in Grand Bassa County are demanding more. Before companies move from the West to major sectors like Grand Bassa County, the question that have always been asked, do you have public utilities? How educated is your workforce? How secure is the environment? Do you have 24-hour light or electricity? Or do you have stable electricity? Do you have running water? If I were to bring my children from the United States or from Great Britain, wherever, do you have school to accommodate children of my employees that will be transferred to the county? How is the hygiene in your county? Are people still urinating in public? What's about public defecation? If you were traveling from Monrovia to Bassa, do you have any rest area in between where women, your guests and the regular Liberian can stop and easily use a restroom and ease themselves? These are things that are required in a civilized society. Can you travel from Monrovia or from the airport to Buchanan and stop along the way where you say, can we pull over in the rest area here? Or if a stranger asks the driver, do you have a rest area nearby? Can the driver say, we are about 20 miles away from the next or 30 miles away? I was in Liberia and I was traveling to Buchanan, and the driver said, I want to check the tire. And I began to think, wow, this guy is driving fast. He pulled over, he wants to check the tires. It was the Liberian parliament. He wanted to use the restroom to ease himself. In a country that is 203 years old. We talked about patriotism yesterday, and we're going to talk about that every day. Who is a patriot? And why should I want to be a patriot? A patriot is someone who I think should be willing to put his life on the line for something that he believes in, something that is worth it. I should say, my leaders are doing all they can to make life easier for me. So much so that I am willing to die for this place. I am willing to lay down my life. I don't know if I'm convinced that my lawmakers have made a case for me to lay my life down for them, to defend the country, the Constitution, the flag, the borders of that country. That when a war starts in Butuo, I will say, I will fight you here. I will never allow you to reach Monrovia to take the House and the Senate, or to reach the legislature, or even the Temple of Justice. I'm going to do all I can, and I'm going to die before you reach them, because they have done so much for me. Can I say that? Can any Liberian say that? If you were to be honest, if someone met you and said, are you willing to die for the House of Representatives and your senators? Are you willing to lay down your life for those people in the House, for what they have done for you? I could tell you though, I am guessing 9 out of 10 may say no. I can hear them say in the Liberian parlance, I beg you, yeah. That me will go die for those people? And then you go to other countries and they are saying, absolutely yes, I will lay down my life for my country. This country is worth dying for. But let's move on. We'll have that discussion. We will continue to have this discussion. Like I have always said, there are times, there are topics that you will agree on, that I may disagree on. There may be topics you agree on that I may disagree on. There may be topics that both of us agree on everything. And there may be a day that we all disagree on something. But we believe and agree that we have to disagree to agree. Things are not going well in our country. It has nothing to do with politics. It has all to do with our system. You move Joseph Boykai, you put Gayman there, you move Gayman, you put Dennis there, you move Dennis, you put Don. It means absolutely nothing as long as 90% of what's coming into the country is going to feed few people. What's left cannot do anything. Anybody that eats 80% of your income, 90% of your income, you will not be able to pay your children tuition. You will not be able to pay your mortgage. You will not be able to buy gas. You will not be able to have disposable income. Like you're saying in Liberia, it's nothing but pledge. So let's go to something else here that is also connected to what we are talking about. Is poverty, is greed, is neglect. And it has a direct correlation between the way we live our life, the way we think. Last week we talked about the intelligence of the people in Africa and West Africa and the whole world. And you saw here, we read to you, the survey said Liberia has the lowest IQ. Our thinking faculty is not developed enough. We may be 75, we may be 50, we may be 60, we may be 40, but we think like an 8-year-old kid. That means we are retarded. Our IQ is 47, 47. Liberia, our IQ, our Irish IQ is 47. The way we think, the way we act, the way we treat ourselves, the way we treat our opposition, the way we treat our fellow men and women tells us that we have a long way to go. This brings me to this story. So how does the University of Liberia rank in Africa and globally? You see where I'm going? You see where we are going? You know where we are going, don't you? It says, this article is written by Local Voices, Liberia, in fact checks. Yes. They are not just saying it, they want you to fact check if what we are saying. If it's a lie, go and check it out. That's why it sets us apart from everybody else. We cannot intellectualize everything, but there are times that we have to do so. It may not be what you want to hear. It may not give you 10,000 views because we're not cursing. But these are the conversations that we need to have. It says that the president of the University of Liberia, Dr. Lely Myean, claimed that the University of Liberia is presently ranked 5,000 in the world and 502 on the African continent. Just imagine. We are ranked 5,000 in the world, according to the president. And some people say she's very generous, but we are ranked 502 on the African continent. Dr. Myean made this statement on October 22nd, while unveiling a 5-year strategic plan aimed at positioning Liberia's leading higher institution among Africa's top 300, she says, by 2030. We're not talking about anything anytime soon, just to crack the 300 mark. She's doing a projection that by 2030, we should be within that. She emphasized that achieving this goal will transform UL, bring it up to par with some of its African peers, not some, and solidify its flagship status. According to the doctor, these rankings are based on factors such as faculty research output, research citations, graduation rate, and student-to-staff ratio. One of the oldest universities in Africa, are they doing research? Are they capable of doing research? The Dr. Exacordo says, currently, the University of Liberia is ranked 5,000 in the world and 502 in Africa, making it one of the lowest ranked in Africa and in the world. Claim 1. Is the University of Liberia currently ranked 5,000 globally? You guys can Google. To check this claim, though, we launched an online search and reviewed national and international university ranking organizations. We checked the credibility, CEMOD SQ or QS, and Time Higher Education, THE University Ranking, two of the most respected global ranking organizations. QS evaluates university using research output citations, faculty-student ratio, and reputation surveys, while THE assesses teaching, research, citation, international outlook, and industry income. Neither SQ nor the current ranks the University of Liberia because the institution does not meet participation and the data submission requirement has limited Scopus index research and has low international visibility. We found the 2025 AD Scientific Index, though, a globally recognized academic ranking system that assesses the research performance of universities and individual scholars across more than 200 universities. It focuses on measurable research output using data from Google Scholar, applying metrics, indicators, such as the H-index, which evaluates productivity and citation. We also found another latest ranking, though, by EduRank. The globally recognized platform measures universities using publicly available data on research output citation, web traffic, and alumni influence, sourced from Microsoft Academic Graph and web analytics tools such as SimilarWeb, an AI-powered digital data company providing real-time market intelligence, competitive insights, and consumer trend to accelerate business. EDU ranked the University of Liberia 5,851 out of 14,000 globally, and first in Liberia. We are ranked 5,851. $5,851. 223 in some areas in Africa. Based on these findings, we conclude that a claim made by Dr. Myean that US is ranked 5,000 globally is mostly correct, though not actually. The actual global ranking, according to UBank, places UL at 5,851. Claim 2, does UL rank 502 among Africa's universities? To factor this claim, we again review the AD Scientific Index. It ranks Liberia leading higher education institution 502. So she was correct. $502. Conclusion, though, the University of Liberia ranked number 1, first in Liberia, though, 5,851, first place. University of Liberia is the only university in Liberia that is ranked 5,851st. And scored in 54 research topics. The University of Liberia ranking is based on 3-factor research output. Index had 824 academic publications and 17,204 citations attributed to the university, non-academic reputation. and the impact of 20 notable alumni in almost 160 years. Based on these findings, we conclude that the claim made by the president that Luxing Torgbea is ranked 502 among Africans is mostly correct. Editor's notes. This fact check was produced by Local Voices Liberia with support from the European Union through the Liberia Media Empowerment Program. The funder had no say in the editorial decision leading to the production of this fact check report. Ladies and gentlemen, we report and you decide. This is factual information that can be fact checked. We give you the sources, we give you the data, and you go and use it for what it is. Your flagship university is striving to be called flagship university. If the University of Liberia is ranked 5,000, blah, 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 just imagine what the other universities are ranked. Let's go to a lighter news. This is on the lighter side sports. I couldn't do this in Tanzania. Niger defend Liberia U17 after poor Wafu showing. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not making up these things. They are on the front pages or the pages of the Liberian newspapers. Mr. Victor Nagbe, welcome.
Hey.
I know you don't want to hear this, but your university is ranked 5,851st.
Well, I I read about it. I didn't go to the University of Liberia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
but I will claim it as our national university. The University of Liberia is the government-owned institution, foremost, I would say. Even though that is debatable, I think Cardinal is right there. But I read the report. You know, you may wonder why is the president concerned about this. I'm sure you will know, Jerome, and many people do. But for those who may not, and let me welcome our audience. Thanks for joining us. What's up? I know it's Thanksgiving Day in Liberia. Happy Thanksgiving to you all back home in Monrovia in Liberia. You know, hope your Thanksgiving Day is going good so far. Don't forget to share the show. So yeah, here the universities here are ranked for a reason, and among other things, the ranking persuade people, you know, to choose you, to want to come to you or to your university if it's ranked, you know, up there with the best around the world in the country. And I think she is she's looking to use that. I'm not sure the University of Liberia right now is competing for students, but that's one of the reasons that comes to my mind that she may be interested in this. Now, the number in itself is it's not that appealing. But then again, if you put it in context, I think when I looked at the report, and what did it say? 38,000, I believe, in Africa, I think, where it is ranked 502.
Yes.
And yeah, so you know, that's not bad. and and they're saying she's mostly correct because she shared a few numbers, you know, a few digits. here and there. But I think that's what she's trying to do. I think that we used to have that back in the day when the schools were ranked. But here they do that. They rank the universities here all the time.
Even the high school, even the high
It-
schools.
exactly. Even in high school, the states. I know for a long time, my state of New Jersey was ranked number 2 next to Massachusetts, but lately, New Jersey has ranked number 1 in the country as the state for best high school. And let several points on the barometer that they use. In terms of high school graduation. In terms of preparedness. College. There's a whole range of points that they use. But this ranking, they help to attract students to the university.
Sure.
So people want to go to the best of the best. So I think that's what Dr. Myean is trying to reawaken in Liberia, and so I hope the university authority will take it apart, take this ranking apart, and see what they can do, and our best to move it up. Of course, minor things like bathroom and all of those count.
Of course.
In
you want to go to a school where there's no bathroom?
Exactly. So all these little points add up. But yeah, University of Liberia ranked 5,000 in the world and 502 in Africa. And then of course they indicated some of the things they look for. Number of papers published by professors. That kind of stuff. I don't think that's happening too much at the University of Liberia. So.
Research.
Yeah, research, correct.
Citations.
Yes. I don't know to what extent you greeted our audience, but let me help you here, my dear brother.
Please.
You've been at it, but let me welcome here Mozart Dennis, one of the foremost photojournalists in the Republic of Liberia. Mozart is watching from Minnesota. David Ritchie, welcome, David. George Johnson, the ambassador here. We talked a couple of times. You remember our ambassador, our brother who's taking the team to Liberia.
That's correct.
Yes, ambassador. I didn't forget our conversation. I'll call you when the time is right. Martin Willie here from South Korea. I don't know when he's going to North Korea. You need to go take a look.
No, there's a line that is a don't cross that line. Everywhere there's a line.
The DMZ line, right? Go and say hi to Kim Il-sung for us. Whatever his name is, the rocket boy. That's not Trump.
Kim Jong-un.
Listen, Martin. I know you don't mind making a little joke at your expense, but it's good of you to be here. You're always here, Martin. Welcome, Beacon. Nissan Dan. Nissan is watching closely. He's saying, of course, our boy here, our CMC boy, Morris Ja, always watching from his CMC corner, he says, at the Point 4 junction in Monrovia. Yeah. And of course, our co-chair here from Minnesota chapter, the one and only Mozart, Mohammed Enzadala is watching as well. Everyone else is watching. Thanks for joining us.
That's good.
Welcome to the show.
Yes, guys, share this show. Your comments are very, very empowering. This is why we are here. I like this approach, Honorable Nagbe. I like this approach. You remember when we were having issue with this resignation, people were saying, don't talk about it. And I said, let them get it out. Now we have a barometer. Now you have a marking point. You can say, this is where we were a year ago. This is where we are now. This woman is saying, I got all the dirty clothes here. This is where we are. We are in bad shape. We need to do X, Y, Z, and I'm going to lay it out. And she is doing this. We all looking at this, and some of us are laughing. Not because of the university being in bad shape, but the idea here that somebody finally decided to lay it out so we can look at where we are. And then she set a benchmark. She said, by 2030, this is where I want us to be. So now you have something to measure. So when these people who are great educators and great managers do these things, there's a reason. It's called best practice.
Yeah.
You can't wash your dirty clothes in the street. That's not true. If you don't want people washing your dirty clothes in the street, they don't get no dirty clothes.
That's right.
So the reason you go to the laundromat, what do you go to the laundromat for? You bring tons of dirty clothes.
Yeah.
When you leave the laundromat, you come out better than you were when you went in.
Yep.
So sometimes it is good to have the discussion, and this woman is laying it out bad, that the things that they are talking about, research, in fact, they say notable alumni, notable. They could only name 20. 20. And that how they call it in America, honorable mention.
Honorable mention, yeah.
Honorable mention.
Yeah.
Now they do Banya graduate from University of Liberia.
Yeah, he was on Cotton with me.
Okay, so he's on
yeah.
Cotton. Okay, so he's on
yeah,
Cotton.
but I know he left. He left. I know he started out from the University of Liberia because when we worked with Linsu, he was at the university where he became, I think, Secretary General of Linsu. And then I'm not sure, but I know he attended both universities.
Okay.
But then he went to Eastern. I think he's got a doctorate from Eastern Europe, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
From Eastern Europe. I'm not sure whether it is Russia or Romania or one of those.
But he graduated from the local university.
He graduated from the local university.
So that's good. So then, then he will fall in both categories. We are looking for
our girl Glendy Jr. Glendy went to both universities.
Okay, so if we're looking for notable mentions, then he will fall on both sides of the aisle.
Correct.
But, also, we had in the sports arena, but anyway, let's get this out of the way.
Right.
There's a debate going on about the supposed illness of President Weah, the former President Weah.
Yeah.
And folks are talking, and someone sent me a note that people are making fun of his illness. And I wrote them back and said, listen, guys, relax. I don't think President Weah needs any sympathy or wants you to pity him. Everybody can get sick. So, and I told them when Costa were making fun of Joseph Boyega, we all laughed, right? The CDC folk, we all laughed at it. Prince Johnson got into the fray and say the man toting battery around him, and we all laughed. He's a national figure. He's the man's a politician. He takes the good and the bad. We don't want anybody getting sick. We don't want anybody. But a lot of people talk about it. Don't say, people are castigating other folks. They are warning other folks. They are talking down other folks as though they are mean and selfish and wicked. No, that's not what it is. When Trump or Biden got sick here, they put it in the news. Everybody, that's what it is. That's what these people are made of. So for you to be attacking Unity partisans, attacking ANC folks and saying, you're making a lie, even if you were sick, why you want something? No, that's what these people, when these people are on the winning, when they are on our stage, they take all the accolades. We give it to them. We worship them. If they get sick and people want to laugh, let them laugh. Take it out of the system. Is that what I would do if my brother Victor got sick? No, because he's a private individual. He's a family man. I wouldn't do it because I have not given him anything, so I can't take anything away from him. So, guys, if you are a seditious, don't go attacking folks because they are laughing at our former president being ill. Why? That's something that I would do. But we all laugh when Joseph Boyega, when Costa said the man going to die in 3 months, or all that other stuff. We were laughing. Everybody was laughing. Did it mean we wanted JMB to die? No. Okay, but you get it out of your system. So, guys, please don't attack Unity partisan folks. because they having all the memes and some of the picture we know is doctored and all that stuff, but that's what this is all about. That's the game. It's a distraction. Your take on this?
Well, I'll say this though. I think it's important. And I understand what you're saying. Get a little bit of laugh and all of that, but you never wish ill of the sick of the dead. Well, you don't speak ill of the dead. Why? Because nobody goes in the store to buy illness. If I'm sick today and you are well, you could very well get sick tomorrow. And so once it's in that situation, usually we put all of our differences aside and wish them the best.
Sure.
So if people were talking about it in that light, yes, I would absolutely agree with them. But I think the concern is that there are some people who are very giddy about this. They're very, 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 very excited to hear this. Why would you be excited? Look, if George were to fall down and die today, that will not make you the leader of the CDC. No. What is it that you're wishing for him to die for? What are you going to gain out of it? Nothing. You're not going to inherit anything that he owns or that he controls. But yeah, there are a lot of people who are giddy about it, and I think it's upsetting the CDC people. But I agree with you. This is a condition or a situation that is supposed to bring all of us together. If he's really not well, I wish you all wish him the best. Never mind our disagreement, but you pray for him so that he gets well. And I think I saw a lot of posts today too. Some really very, very conciliatory, very, very classic, if I should say, including some from our friend Seleke Kromah, who's always trolling us.
Yeah.
And I like what he wrote. And basically he wrote what I'm saying now, that in times like this, you rally around the person who is experiencing the misfortune, because you never know when it will be you. Even here in the States, some things like hot mic, where you mistakenly say something, usually people they kind of empathize with you and understand your situation, because it could be any of us, and so I'll just put it out there. If it is true that the former president is not well, just wish him well, and if you want to have a little laugh, be classic about it. Don't be distasteful. I've seen some, like you say, I've seen some of the memes, and they're really mean and very, very cold-hearted. That's unnecessary. Politics is a sport where we disagree ideologically. We disagree strategy-wise. We disagree on methodology. But you find almost every Liberian politician, we all almost say we want the same thing. Just how to get it. But we're not enemies. We're not. I mean, I look, over the years, the UPP's arch enemy has been the LPP, but we're the best of friends. It's crazy. Some of my best friends are my LPP brothers. Thomas Du, the late Germina Flomo, even the Kofi Woods, Larry. These are my best friends. Abraham Mitchell and I, we're brothers-in-law. Yankwe Carbo, we're brothers-in-law. We're the best friends. We're probably even closer than I am to some of my UPP colleagues, but we disagree on methods and strategies. Basically, that's what it is. And so that's what politics is. You're not enemies. You just disagree to disagree. And that, so all this thing people are doing in Liberia, if you belong to this party, I can't talk to you, if you're on this side, everything you do is wrong and everything I do is right. I think it's foolishness. You have to be sometimes you have to even be self-deprecating and make fun of yourself at times if you get it wrong. Well, I have gotten it wrong here. For instance, in a blending situation, all of us here sometimes we mangle a word. It happens to all of us.
And I reposted the funny video. I sent it to her, and I said, because she was always on my case for CDC and all that. So she took it in stride. She called me, she sent me something back and said, but that's what this is all about. It's not through malice, but I got you now. You got
right.
Me.
Exactly. That one I take. I mean, Sister Goya will throw you and I almost 24/7. Because we throw him too, and and so we do the back. And some of our other colleagues, that's different. But some of what you're talking about are just people who take this whole politics thing, to the next level. I mean, these are the people who are dangerous for society, because These are the people who will hurt you without even realizing they're hurting you because they're so seized up in this thing, they become fanatical. We don't need that in a space, you know.
Yeah, but
You guys got to chill out.
Like my grandma used to say, when they're teasing you, don't let them feel that they got under your skin.
No.
So you just come out, even they hurt you, tell them, hey, it ain't hurting me. But that's what it is. And once it happens, you get it out of the system. But when you tell them, don't do this, then they will do it more. And
So
I was looking at some means for the election. I mean, we have some terrible means for Joseph Boy. I'm telling you.
That's right.
So these guys are coming out now, going after the CDC. The CDC said, no, you guys are immoral. You do that. So I had to tell them, I said, look, during the election, right? One of them sent me something on my 64th birthday. He says, you believe in the Bible? I said, yes. He said, you believe 3 score 10? I said, yes. He said, you're 6 years away from dying. I don't know whether he wanted me to get upset. So I told him, I said, you know what? I said, yeah, but I'm going to go smiling. I'm going to go smiling. He never responded to me anymore because he thought I was going to be upset.
No.
Because he wanted to start something, right?
And I'm saying here.
Listen, I'm healthy. I'm going to go down smiling. He never got back to me. But this is what politics does. So once you take it seriously, they will continue to push that button.
They will rub it in. I tell you a quick joke. Uncle one of my friends, I hope he's still around. I haven't seen him in decades, but his name was Adam. Is the acronym of his initials. I think it was Archibald Theophilus Otis Menza, something like that. I don't. What his thing was, when Theo has food, you know, Mission Life, Jerome. Mission Life is the craziest. So nobody owns anything in the dormitory. If anybody cooking and you're hungry, you smell the food, you follow the smell until you go in that room. So anyway, when Theo has his little food and you know you all want it, you go to Theo's room, the first thing he will cause his own mind, cause error, so they worry about himself, you know, so that he will preempt you. There's nothing you say to Theo now that will make him vex, you know. And so we knew that, and that was Theo, you know. So I'm saying that to say, when you don't give the people the satisfaction of knowing they're getting.
That's correct.
You know, sometimes you should even be self-deprecating, make joke of yourself at times. Let people have it. But if you begin to tell them that the jokes are getting to you, you just made it easier for them, and they will not stop. You know.
Look,
but anyway,
we had what a comedian named Rodney Dangerfield.
Right.
Rodney Dangerfield said, everybody know I'm ugly, so I'm not worried about it. But I just want to tell you how ugly I am, and no people just lie. They just fall off, and nobody ever say anything to him. But guess what? He said, I'm making a damn good living out of this ugliness. You're paying to come and see your ugly man. If you pay $500, $300, come and either you stupid, either you stupid or something wrong. Okay, let's go to this. Monroe said, FIFA talent coach assigned to Liberia, Emmy in J, said he remained proud of Liberia under 17 team despite their winless performance at the just ended Wafu Zone A under 17 championship in Mali. Speaking on Punch FM over the weekend, the coach of Liberia's decision to field genuinely young players was intentional and part of a long-term development plan. The U17 side lost all 3 of its matches, finished bottom of the group featuring hosts Mali, Gambia, and Guinea-Bissau. For me, I was proud to take a team at that age. The coach said, in Africa, we have a massive problem with age cheating. I couldn't do what I did in Liberia in Tanzania. But in Liberia, because the president and the people were flexible, I could do it again and again. He said most of the players used in Mali are significantly younger than the 17 years limit and will remain eligible for future youth tournament for years to come. He cited Morocco's youth football model as an example of long-term benefits of investing in young players. Let me give you an example, he said. You beat Morocco here a few years ago at the U17 level. But that Morocco team, U20 is now basically world champions.
Right.
Because they invested in long term.
Yeah.
He said a UEFA pro license holder, former Premier League coach with Nottingham Forest, emphasized that football success requires patience and consistency. You cannot build a house in one day, he said. You start with the foundation, shape the players' mentality, and build a football culture. There is no quick fix in football. Once we understand this, in 2 or 3 years, everyone will be happy and we will forget what happened to us in Mali. This is what he's talking about. We are into instant gratification. And other teams want to win. What they do, they cheat. They will send Nagbe over there and they will have him shave and tell you that he's 21. So he is saying this is the right thing to do.
Yeah, I think the coach is being a little bit I think he's using a little bit of sarcasm. I think he's trying. What I hear him saying is, giving the support needed. This team could do a lot. I mean, he's talking about the team that competed against Morocco, and where is Morocco now? Morocco is on top of the world. Basically, I think that's what he's saying. I don't believe that he is celebrating the fact that they came winless, from the last participation. But coincidentally, just today I was watching Al Jazeera and I saw I think they're trying to make the under 17 a yearly thing now. I think Qatar is going to host the next 5 in succession. So what that means is there'll be a lot more support necessary, demanded, required to get a team ready, because now it's going to be a yearly event. And I think he's saying that we have the potential. All that is necessary is the support, which is always the question in Liberia. How do we support this program? I don't know whether the under 17 is under the Ministry of Youth and Sports or is I don't know, because Minister Zioga was here. I didn't even know that the LFA, is not supported by the government of Liberia. That it's stuff. Yeah, it's supported by FIFA. Again, it comes to the support. I think that's what this coach is lamenting. I think he's making it clear that we do have the talent. If we're given the support, we could be like Morocco. I think that's what he's trying to say. And hopefully, that will happen. Let me quickly welcome additional people here and let our girl Sura know that she is outnumbered in the company of CMC Mars, because besides Mohammed Enzadole, there is also Anthony W. Martins, who says he's also watching from this CMC mobilization team in Uganda. So, Sura Dabo, I'm glad you're watching, but right now I gotta let you know, my dear, you're outnumbered. So there is also Clinton Bolo says hi, and then what did Martin Willis say? Martin, I'm tired talking to you. There is also Sekou Talata Sharif. He said good evening, and Sekou is also watching. He said from Upper Virginia, District number 17. I guess that's Liberia or the Virginia. Okay. All right. Be Thankful Addison is watching from Columbus, Ohio. Thank you all for tuning in, and please share the show.
You forgot. Oh, you leave your other people out, man.
I'm going to call him who I'm seeing. Just not Joseph Molly. Walekinda,
yes.
Just
did you mention Victor UJ Morgan?
I missed Victor. I saw you earlier, but I missed
Okay, that's your namesake. So you're not supposed to miss that kind of man.
That's supposed to miss that. So
that's right. But this is great. We have before you came on, what you make about the Speaker of the House admitting though that he was not a legitimate speaker all along.
Well, he's been saying it a long time, Jerome. He himself knows that the whole process was a sham. I mean, remember from his, I think it was Independence Day, July or whenever, when he called himself
the region speaker.
Region speaker, they have their speaker. We gotta have our speaker. What does that mean? You know, the speaker is the speaker of the Republic of Liberia, who serves everybody. It's not their speaker and our speaker. So he said that, and he said he wanted to be the regime speaker. What that means is those who don't report the regime, he doesn't represent them. So I didn't listen to the recent, but he is known for these Biden-esque gaffes. He's and I like him for that. I think he might be a real genuine guy. He doesn't care to be politically correct. He just says it like he sees it, or like it's come to his head. And I'm sure to the ends of the Unity Party people, because sometimes he just speaks the truth. He doesn't care to go to varnish it. He just let it go like that. So yeah, like where was he speaking and what exactly was he talking about?
Okay, Zowieta Bon County. That was yesterday. House Speaker Richard Coon publicly confessed recently that he was not a legitimate Speaker of the House of Representatives during the month-long impasse that crippled the foundation, the functions of the Liberia lower house. Speaker Coon made a confession at the dedication of a pipe-borne water project in Bon County in District 1, an initiative spearheaded by Representative Prince Kona. He said the power struggle at the legislature was a fight for legitimacy, raising concerns that his previous claim to the speakership was self-proclaimed. We had our own little struggle at the House. We were struggling to gain legitimacy, Coon admitted, acknowledging the prolonged crisis that divided the House into rival factions. During the political standoff, Coon and his majority bloc had insisted that he was the rightful speaker and began holding paralyzed session. He rejected the authority of Speaker Fonati Kofa, who had been duly elected by the 55th legislature. The dispute effectively paralyzed legislative functions and operation for several months, prompting Speaker Kofa to seek intervention from the Supreme Court. The court ruled that the action of Coon and his bloc were ultra-virus, beyond the legality and the authority by the Constitution, and reaffirmed Kofa as a legitimate speaker. So he went to dedicate a pump in Bon County yesterday, and when he left, the folks began to send photos around that the pump had run out of water. So we have seen the repeat of what happened in Bapolu.
Yeah.
What's wrong with our friend and brother? What's his name? Mo Ali.
Yeah.
The identical pump, the identical thing with small, pumps, faucets along the way. The man left, and today the people sending the stuff back and saying,
I gotta say this though, Jerome. I don't know Mo Ali. I never met him before, but he's becoming, and a lot of people have a lot of good things to say about him. But then, and there are also those who question, his pedigree. There is a house. I don't know if you've seen it, that is circulating on social media. That is supposed to have been constructed by his agency. And if you look at this thing, it's almost like it's like children playing. They take a plate and set it on the stakes and take another plate and set it, and they're asking whether this house actually met, whether there was blueprint for this house that was ever approved by the Ministry of Public Works, but you're talking this, and besides that housing, there is a question of whether he understands what he's doing. There are always these reports. I mean, this project he went, I think, was it Babalu Lofa somewhere for $250,000, he said.
Yeah.
And within a month or so, the people came out and they were talking, there's no water coming through the pipe.
But he stood there and said, the whole republic will not have pipe on water.
I don't know, because I really, and like I said, I never met him, and based on what I've heard of him, I'm leaning towards the side of really giving respect as as a sober-minded engineer, but these stories are becoming too frequent and too rampant.
Well, the funny part is, let's go to.
But talking about that, I know you're about to pivot, but there's a video that's about 12 minutes long. I don't know if you'll let us play it, but the people in Bong started speaking out on the breach situation, and they're making it known to the government that they are not happy with the government decision. They want the government to leave the CMC alone to build that bridge because they're claiming that Musa Ability and the CMC had already deposited the material. They've been sitting guard all along this month, making sure nobody touches anything. And they want the government to let the CMC go ahead with the bridge. They are not happy with what is happening. And, they're letting Senator Moe know that they want the bridge to be built by the CMC. And I posted that on my page. Let me send it to Myean.
Yeah, please send it to Myean. Let him play.
See what Myean can cue it for. Myean, if you're listening, stand by, my brother. I'm sending this to you now. And because I was saying here, our people need to stand up. We're not encouraging mutiny or anything, but this is this whole thing about the people's thing. This affects your livelihood. How is it you'll be content with suffering when somebody else is enjoying life at your expense? And there's nothing wrong with that. And we're talking about politics again. Our people have to understand these things. Advocating for your right is your right. Nobody will do it for you if you don't do it for yourself. So there should be no fear in that. I mean, I understand over the years, government has used heavy hand to clamp down on dissent. I understand that. They did it to us in the student community, even in the opposition community. I get that. But you have to persevere. You got to step on. You cannot pull back because people are trying to muscle you. So I'm glad the people of Bong are coming. I hope the people of Bapolu will also, they are at some point in time. I heard a few of them complain, but they need to be louder than that. They need to let the government know, And as Myean said, he got it, he's repairing this. I'm just disappointed in some of my very good friends I know who are very, very balanced, and very, very sober-minded. Coming on my post when I posted a letter from the Ministry of Public Works and telling me private citizens are not supposed to build bridges. Well, where is the public-private partnership that we all talk about? Where is that? Yeah, if a private citizen is doing something like that, shouldn't you go in there and collaborate with them? It relieves the government of that responsibility. The government that's already strapped and looking for money all over the place. Why? Because it will give us political capital. But to go out there and the people are saying, no, don't deny us of our opportunity only because this may dislodge your Senator Moe or whatever it is. But the people, they're very vocal. They're saying they know who is behind all this and for what. They are aware of the phone calls to the superintendent from Senator Moe and the mansion and wherever. So Myean said he has it. I hope you will play it. Myean, when you're ready, let us know.
Yeah, but this is what we are talking about. We talked about this yesterday. You see, that's the problem we have. Okay? Here, and this is why when we have these things, we do our research. The government seeks approval from the Senate for $364 million road deal, which is a public-private partnership with a company from Sierra Leone. Isn't it simply they're coming to build bridge and road?
Exactly.
Public-private partnership that they are talking about.
Right.
So if they can go all the way to Sierra Leone, bring somebody to do this, you are talking about $364 million US dollars that it is basically you are transferring this money from Liberia into the Sierra Leone economy.
That's right.
Musa Ability is building bridges and other stuff that will keep the money into our economy. Then you deny him, but you want to go to Sierra Leone to bring folks to build bridges and roads.
Exactly. Oxymoronic. You know?
This is what we are talking about. Yeah. We're talking about capital flight legally.
Yeah,
they're trying to do this to remove. Can you imagine Liberia has a budget of about 600-700 million, and 364 million, or 50% of the total budget of the country is going to civilian.
Yeah.
What sense does that make?
What sense does that make?
And then you want to stop one man from building bridge because you feel it's going to give him some morale, according to y'all, give him morale.
They make him morale think.
So here you are, your hate for competition, and your hate for doing the right thing for your own people. You rather your people die crossing that river than a man to build a bridge.
And that is what one of the guys in the recording is saying, that there are lots of people, because this river, they just have this little one stake over the water. Some of the old people with their belongings on their head, you know, as you get in frail, your balance is kind of not, you know, your balance is kind of weak, and they fall in that water, and so they know a lot of people have died. You know, I mean, hearing these kind of stories, I can't imagine anyone would have the guts to say, no, don't build this bridge because it will make you popular, or it will make you get votes. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't think politics is supposed to be done like that, you know?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, if you have the time, we want you to tune in. Tomorrow is going to be a special show. We're going to have our sister, Seleke Kromah, and a group of professional doctors and nurses and survivors of breast cancer.
We'll be
here tomorrow. So tomorrow, you're going to be hearing professional medical advice from professional folks. We're going to have one of my favorite nurse practitioner, Abby Tyler, is going to be here as well. So we are going to have some great folks here that will be talking about. I know Maya was supposed to do our flyer. We have Abby Tyler; she's a nurse practitioner. We have Dr. Somo Harbard. She's going to be here tomorrow. We're going to have the survivor of breast cancer. Her name is Quita Kese. She's going to be here tomorrow. And we're going to have Dr. Mary Simons. She was the director of practical nursing at the local university, retired. She went to Liberia and helped establish the nursing program at the Grand Bassa University. So she has expertise and experience across Africa, Europe, and the United States. She will be here tomorrow to talk about some healthy issues. So tomorrow, don't miss it. And next Thursday, the state representative, Dolores Hogan Johnson, rescheduled for next Thursday. She was supposed to be here today, but because of the time going backward, it conflicted with most of her schedule, so she rescheduled for the second hour next Thursday. That means she's not going to come on 4. It will be an hour before she joins us.
Right.
She will be here. She will give her 2 hours. So you will be talking about somebody who has legislative experience. So you can ask all your political questions, all the myths that our unproductive politicians be telling us. She's going to debunk some of them, and she's going to tell her how it is done at the highest level. So this is where we are at this point. Now, let's go to this here. I know people are saying, you guys just pick up things that don't make our country look good. But unless you want me to manufacture something, I have told you, if you find something good that it makes us where we are, send it to us.
Yeah.
Don't make it up. Just send it to us. And like the University of Liberia is saying, and the international community has said it, what they are looking at is citations. Don't just talk from the top of your head. Tell me that Victor wrote this on November 5th, 2025, and here it is. Don't just say, someone told me. They say citation is very important. It's part of the ranking. So we are asking you now, Victor, the ICC is about to investigate the killings that went on in Tanzania about a couple of days ago. say hundreds of people got killed. The ICC now is taking the president-elect to task. This woman came into power when John Magufuli died. She was the vice president. She became president.
The vice president, that's right.
This woman is so ruthless. Most of the opposition, the main ones, are in jail. Some have disappeared, extrajudicial killing. And then she said she won the election by 98%.
Yeah.
And the nation is upset down, millions of people in the streets. And she said the entire populace voted for her. 98. I've never heard, I mean, even the men would say, it was close, I won it by 52, 53%. This woman said 98% of the people voted for her. Were you advising her?
Was I advising her? But Jerome, what is even worse is that this woman has been congratulated by so many international bodies, right? And I believe the AU congratulated her. I believe ECOWAS congratulated her, I can understand why they would do that, because they belong to the same club. But when you do that, you're legitimizing this person, I don't know if any of the other Western countries have congratulated her. But she is really, really turning out to be a disappointment. And it says a lot about power, that many of us who believe, the female touch, women are never going to be like as ruthless as some of the as the male dictators around the country are, but she is really proving everybody wrong. Like you said, the reports are that she's being very ruthless. She has imprisoned or chased out most of her opponents. How can you win a vote by 98 point something percent? I mean, how is that possible? And yes, I was really one of those who was starting to take to her, and the other lady in Namibia, where they have a full, the president, vice president, I think the speaker, they are all women in Namibia. Ellen Johnson did it for us. It's a pride, a prideful thing for us on the continent to talk about. Why people in the West are not ready for the likes of Hillary Clinton or Kamala Harris. We're doing it on the continent already. And but now this lady really is starting to really make it look bad that we are poor judge of people, we put her there. Because she was the vice president. She came on this guy's coattail, and that's how she was shooed in because he passed. And probably she may never have been elected on her own. But now, she has decided she's going to solidify power, and she's just cracking down. It is really, really surprising what she's doing in Tanzania. You're talking about Julius Nyereri's country. Mm-hmm. That's what we're talking about. I mean, one of the fathers of the Organization of African Unity. It's really, really sad what is happening in Tanzania. It tells you what power does to people, Jerome.
What they said, say whatever the man does, a woman can do better. So the guys are winning by 55, 60%. She said, man,
you ain't mean it, you ain't know what to do.
Let me welcome Mona CA. She's watching. Usually we like you to tell her where you're watching from. Right. Martin Willie says Zoeta Bonkante is his home. That's good. We see Patient Doe. I don't know where you tuning in from, but thank you. Then we get Kennedy Corey, engineer with experience. Where have they worked or where has he worked?
I think he's talking on the Moali team.
Yeah. And then we get say Banyake say, wow, great job, guys. I'm closely following this show from Secretary Nima County. Thank you very much for our folks in Secretary and other folks in, I think it was Ganta City or Gompa City. I guess it's the same name, Gompa, Ganta, Gompa City. And then if you are watching, if somebody watching in from, we have not seen anybody from from Harpert Layton, from Maryland County.
That's
Where
right.
are you guys? Listen, we want to know you are listening to us. Okay, there you go. What are they combo to? Is it to senior? Watching from Denver, Colorado. That's right. It's getting cold out there, my friend.
Yeah.
I'm going to come out there to do some skiing.
Denver is the Mile High City, they say.
Mile High City. When I come, I bring my earplug because I'm going to be bleeding for the ears. It's so high. A beautiful city, though. Thank you very much for watching.
I've never really been. I kind of transited through it. I never really. They say it's pretty beautiful.
Oh yes, beautiful. Now let's look at this now. We are looking at the local voices Liberia in fact checking. That's all they do. They fact check, and it's being sponsored by the European Union. So when they say something, it means it is well. Here it's a misleading though. Liberia has not been ranked among the world 40th most safe cities or countries in the world because there were this thing that the politicians were running with, that Liberia was ranked as ranked among the 40th countries, safest country.
Right.
And the politicians were running with it, and then the guy went to fact check. A post claiming that Liberia is no longer ranked among the 40 most unsafe countries in the world has gone viral. The claim, though, which were published on social media by Legit News Africa, was widely shared by some government officials, bloggers, and media outlets as seen here. The claim has gained wide circulation, accumulating 198 comments, 126 shares. Earlier judgment, though, during the March 26 hearing, the Supreme Court, let me see, make sure this is it here. This is 2 out of 7. No, that's not it. Okay. Liberia dropped the list of world 40th most unsafe countries in the world for the first time in recorded history. Liberia no longer ranked among the 40 most unsafe countries in the world, according to the newly released global statistics. The 2025 report highlights significant improvement in Liberia's security and stability, marking a major milestone for the West African nation that has long battled challenges of crime, poverty, and post-war recovery. Analysts say the development reflects ongoing efforts by national authorities and international partners to strengthen law enforcement, promote peace building, and improve economic conditions across the country. Then it says here now, they listed all the countries, and here we go. Here, where is Liberia on here? Liberia right here. Liberia is ranked. Oh Lord, I couldn't see it, but I'm going to find it. But they are saying, the fact checkers are saying, this is not right. So we are going to find our article. Half of it I found, and we will go to it because we want to give you the numbers as it is written factually. While we look for that, let's go to this story. The George Bako reinstated assault case against Miss Liberia, first runner-up. We discussed the case several months ago. Monrovia Statutory Magistrate L. Bako of Monrovia City Court on Wednesday, November 5th, rescinded his earlier ruling that dismissed assault and disorderly conduct charges against Miss Liberia first runner-up Kindness Wilson, effectively reinstating the case after state prosecutors challenged his previous decision. State prosecutors challenged the judge's decision and won, it looks like. The reversal followed a motion filed by the state prosecutor led by Councilor Mariah Yakula Corpo, seeking relief from judgment and asking the court to overturn its October 27 ruling, which had cleared Ms. Wilson of all charges. Magistrate Bako, in his latest ruling, admitted that the court had inadvertently missed material fact in the original judgment, which showed that the delay in proceeding was not caused by the prosecution as earlier believed. The court finds the prosecution did present credible evidence, written and oral, that it made consistent effort to secure assignment for hearing. Bako stated in his decision the delay was attributed to a crowded docket, not prosecutorial neglect. Background though, Wilson, a beauty queen and student at Santa Maria Polytechnic University, was charged in March 2025 with simple assault, menacing, and disorderly conduct following an altercation with another student, Jamal Cox. According to the complainant, Wilson allegedly slapped and insulted Cox on campus, causing bodily harm and public embarrassment. She pleaded not guilty to all charges, and the prosecution presented 5 witnesses, including witnesses and a medical doctor, along with video evidence and school disciplinary report. You remember this case where this girl embarrassingly slapped another contestant at one of these events?
Yes.
And this kid went viral. And for some reason, all charges against her were dropped. And people began to say this was not fair. And fortunately for Cox, Miss Kokwa Yekula took the case and won. But the question here, though, if this was a Wilson versus a Nagbe or Cox versus a Kekula, would the judge go back on this? But because it looks like this is between 2 prominent families in Liberia, the Cox and the Wilsons, and all of a sudden the judge, for the first time in my lifetime, to see a judge say, my decision was wrong and I'm flip-flopping.
Well, I hope Fatuma Bintu Soliv is taking note that Mariah is pursuing a case now that she could put in a win column. I don't know yet, but one of the things she had against the UP people is that Mariah has never won a case in court. And she's behind this case. But yeah, you're right. This case was kind of funny because, I mean, I don't know if the judge kind of ruled out of sympathy or what it was. This lady, the former Miss Liberia, I think she was the reigning queen or second runner or whatever it was. Yeah, and she slapped this young girl. And the story was that I think this girl and her sister or something, but anyway, and it was in a public place, like you said.
Yes.
And so, there was a lot of talk about it, and she seemed kind of remorseful. There were reports that she was very apologetic, and so I think a lot of us felt, that she would be given a second chance or so. But apparently, the other girl's parents they thought otherwise, and so I think they sued. Let's be honest, violence, especially involving female, it's not, it's a serious matter. So I like the fact that all of us were thinking she should be given a second chance. But if the judge has reason, because Mariah is very cerebral, I'm sure she looked at the merits of the case and probably decided, this case should go to court. Kobe, this case should go to court. I'm sorry, my dog is acting up. Cut it out. So I think she decided that this case needs to go to court. And so, I'm sorry, Jerome. Johnny is in the back before I even came on. He's in the
Okay.
back. Yeah.
Let me see.
It's interesting. If the case is going back to court, I think there must be some kind of prosecutorial concerns that Councilor Yakula may have, and want to take it back to court. So I would like to. It will be interesting to see how it proceeds. But from all indications, it seemed like a matter that was worthy of charges. The way this contestant handled the other girl. We only saw a little snippet of the altercation, but all of it was kind of one-sided. It was her really kind of handing out punishment to this girl, and she seemed kind of younger than her too. Again, I don't know their ages, but she seemed, I mean, she couldn't even pluck up the courage to fight back, So again, I don't know. I wish people like Cyril would come on instead of writing here and tell us from the female perspective what she thinks.
Sarah is pushing her cartoon.
Yeah, Sarah's at work. So Sarah, I'm sorry.
Sarah, don't listen to this man. Yeah. He know that America here, we got to pay the bills. Yeah. Everybody got to pay the bill, whether you woman or male, when the bill is due. In fact, the month just ended, right?
Yeah.
So you better have your rent or your mortgage ready to go on the first of the month.
That's right.
If not, what did you just say, Monroe? Myean. We just spoke about it. The gentleman said when the month ends, everybody has mattresses. The father can't go home because they are embarrassed.
Yeah.
Because the landlord is waiting for them. They do not want to look stupid in front of their children, so they stay up all night. I mean, because the economy is that bad.
Yeah, sneaking out of the house early in the morning.
Man, it is
coming home late when the landlord is asleep.
When the landlord is asleep, and these are the things that are happening. But let's talk about the Senate passing Cybercrime Act to combat IT fraud. We talked about it briefly yesterday, but this one, like we were talking about the bill, the wage bill. I know there are, your partisan looking for a job. They want to get on the payroll, and you promised that job was going to come. It's 2 years now, no job. So you try to create job for the folks. But what does it do to our wage bill? What does it do to the budget, Mr. Nagbe? Where does this thing end?
Yeah. It's some of these things, maybe, we're not in government, obviously. And so most people interpret it as trying to knock on the government and all of that. But first of all, the Jenny Cooper, I think, who's being appointed to head this commission, right?
For another, this woman being government for, oh, Lord.
Right. And not only that, she's an LACC inductee. Didn't LACC?
Yes.
Yeah, Edwin Martin and the team, I think they came after her when she was at Ministry of Agriculture. Are they saying she has been cleared or what? I don't know. But yes, so that's one concern. And then there's what you're talking about, the continuous growing of the payroll envelope. Instead of reducing it and trying to shrink it, looks at we're going all out. We continue to create new opportunities for people to get paid, and we continue to drain, to impose drain, stress on the recurring expenditure envelope. It is already consuming almost 88% of the budget, and how are they going to pay these people? This is not going to be an agency that will be an income generating agency. I don't think it will be. No. It looks like it's going to be an agency that will be totally reliant on the Ministry of Finance. So I don't know. Again, the third concern is, over here, a lot of people do business here, virtually, on the internet and stuff. But how much of that is done? Like, what is the reason? What is the urgency for this? Are people reporting their accounts being hacked? I mean, what is the urgency for the creation of this agency? I don't understand.
Well, Madam Cooper was hailed at one point that she had a private farm. She was into agriculture. She was that. She was this. Let me welcome Riverside Pro. Welcome, Chief. And we got Junior Hezekiah Torgbea. There you go. An inductee by LACC. That's correct.
Yeah.
We have a lot of new folks. Tony Sophie Blamo, thank you for turning in. We got Sarah Dopoh. I don't know where you're tuning in from, but most likely you're pushing the cartridge. All right. Godwin Kobo, thank you very much. But this is what we are talking about. This woman was pushed as an agriculturist. She was this, she was that. They brought her in, and President Weah elevated her to minister proper. And the first thing that we heard when she got there was a corruption that she gave most of the major contract to her brother that was working with her in the office. And the transformation she was supposed to bring to the Department of Agriculture. When she went for hearing, she made all these fabulous claims and nothing happened.
No.
Now they are bringing her back. What does she know about cyber?
Yeah.
Can you imagine cyber security? That's for young folks, real young and intelligent folks. Unless you were in the national security, but at the speed that the young folks are going now, to tell anybody who were born in the 40s to come and be director of cyberspace, I am telling you, it is one of those things that I would. Let me welcome Jan.
I was about you to stop everything and welcome your regular. I'm glad you picked that up.
She is the ultimate. If we were giving out an award, I think Sarah Dopoh will be number 2.
How about Telvina?
Oh, yeah, there you go. But the list is getting long. Yeah, Telvina, or Marty Willie.
Yeah.
We got a lot of other folks who are, and don't forget the folks from Seleke Kromah.
That's right.
The folks from Seleke Kromah. Another place is Chicken Soup Factory.
Yeah.
There are some beautiful names in Liberia that I've never heard of. At first, I thought it was a joke. But a community in Liberia they call Daybreak More Open.
Yeah.
Never heard of that. Pewee would say, Mr. Gayman, you're not stay too long in America.
I know.
You never heard of Daybreak More Open? So if I were to ask Honorable Nagbe, where do you live? Where's your address? Where do you live in Daybreak More Open?
Daybreak More Open, yeah.
Yeah. So what's the address there? How do I mail something to you?
Yeah.
You're gonna say, well, I don't know. They are just looking for a job for the people. That's right. Okay. We got Kadi K is back on. I think that's a she.
Yeah.
Kadi K.
She did yesterday correct.
Yes.
I think it was you or Johnny that.
Yeah, that's correct. But Myean, if you in the back, Johnny been there for a while now.
And also put a tip on Myean. You said you had it. So if you're there.
So let's go with this one. But Honorable Nagbe, we talk about deflowery. Great write-up that these consultants will come and write, and we present it, and people say, yes, these guys got their stuff together. Then you turn around. This one caught my attention. We talk about the NOCAL boss. NOCAL president and CEO Destiny Fabian Lai said he intends to overhaul the National Oil Company of Liberia from a largely dormant institution into an active, transparent, and strategically competitive player in the oil and gas sector, if confirmed by the Senate. Appearing before the Senate Committee Hydrocarbon, Energy, and Environment, Lai said, out of a vision to reposition NOCAL as fully integrated national energy company with stronger state ownership, improved data control, and expanded commercial activity across the petroleum value chain. I like these guys. When they're ready, we got Billy. Billy, welcome. Then we got him appearing before the Senate. He said this. He said, NOCA must evolve from a passive holders of assets into a dynamic engine of national development. I told the senator, our oil and gas resources must work for all Liberians, from the wellhead to the gas pump and beyond. He said his leadership will be guided by 5 overarching principles. He can't name the principles now, Mr. Nagbe. Securing Liberia petroleum data as a strategic national asset, increasing state participation and value capture, bringing partnership that include Liberian stakeholders managing upstream and downstream policies in an integrated manner, and developing a highly skilled Liberian technical workforce.
This guy upstream, downstream.
Then he didn't stop there. He outlined 7-part operational blueprint built on 10 strategic focus areas. Central to his plan is the establishment of a unified geoscience data repository within 12 months to consolidate seismic records, few histories, and basin analysis. He said the company will also complete a 3D seismic processing by mid-2026 and launch a publicly accessible petroleum data platform within 2 years to improve transparency for investors and policymakers. Jesus Christ.
That's a lot.
So those of you who say you need both people, there you go.
Yeah.
Now, since you've been there, what have NOCA done for the people? What has trickled down to the folk besides all the BB book? We have not seen anything. Johnny, finally they brought you on. Is your car okay?
Excellent.
Excellent, okay. So we want to make sure nobody steals your car. They don't break into your car. They don't take your window. They don't do your battery. Make sure you tie the battery down. Well, welcome to the show.
Welcome, Johnny.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Mr. Gayman, and thank you, Mr. Nagbe. I've been following you guys from the Facebook page, just listening to the presentations. I think it's good. I hope Liberians will take time to always listen to this platform to be informed about what's happening in the country and how it can help them to do or make informed decisions. This platform is not there to just identify the problems, but it also provides options to some of the problems we have. So let me appreciate all the viewers who are taking the time to get our data on, those listening to radio, taking the time to listen. You are all respected. We honor you. It's because of you we are here, and because of us, you are also there to listen to what we have to say. So we can promise you, we'll not give you half information. Our team is so strong. They do the research, they have the evidence, and they provide it to you. So thank you. I'm here with you guys for the next hour or more. And whatever I have to say, I will make sure it's of quality information, not just to put anything out to the public.
Thank you. Let me welcome Flobo Livingstone.
I know, right? He is really doing a lot here, you know. He's one angry guy from calling CMC cash money to the bank.
He will follow you everywhere.
Yeah,
I like what he said. This platform is a joke.
But he's here.
So, yeah, but he's here. So, but then we got a lot of jokers. If I'm a joke, I know I got one other joker here. That me and Livingstone, we are good friends. We are 2 jokers. And you know what? Well, you know what they say, Mr. Nagbe? 2 is better than 1.
But seriously, though,
listen, is somebody saying that the platform is a joke?
No, he just
that guy. He just doesn't like Jerome Gayman. That's all. His name is don't pay no mind, Johnny.
No,
he follows us everywhere we go.
Everywhere we go, he follows.
Now begin.
There's another one that will soon be coming here. His name is Wallo. Dr. Wallo, a PhD holder. But
Nyenwolo.
everywhere we go, he follow us.
I know, right? But quickly, Jerome, I know we'll come back local. Let me say here, Nancy Pelosi, she's been in Congress like forever.
She retired.
Almost 40 years. Yeah, she just announced, she's not going to be seeking re-election. Until lately, she's been, going through a lot. I think you remember the incident with her husband, where somebody, I don't know how, but somebody getting access.
Going to the house of the man and bludgeoning with a hammer.
Yes, can you imagine that?
80-year-old man.
I mean, where else do you feel most secure than in your house? And this guy is apparently somewhere from the streets, from nowhere, broke into these people's house here, and then with they fought over the hammer, and he overpowered him. He's an elderly person,
80-year-old man.
Yes, he was out for a while, and anyway, but Nessie has announced that she will not be seeking re-election. She and Chuck, the younger people, Ocasio-Cortez and the rest of them, they've been agitating, and that I think the leadership now needs to switch to much younger folks. So I don't know if that is what is precipitating her, but she has just announced she will not be running. Then on top of that, Jerome, sadly, the Cowboys have lost, one of their players, Needland, 24 years old. He just played last Monday night, and the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys NFL team. Yeah, I know they are one of our arch enemies in the Northeast region, Northeast division. But like we were saying about the former president sickness and all of that, when these kind of things happen, you put rivalry aside, So my heart really goes out. Young man, 24 years old. And I'm saying he played in the last game on Monday night, even scored his first touchdown. He's on there. He's not supposed to score a touchdown, given his assignment. But sometimes, once in a while, the special teams and stuff like that, but they were able, anyway, he scored a touchdown by blocking the ball. But, the circumstances are really kind of, it goes back to what these guys go through with the, concussions and all of that, Jerome, the ECT, what they would call it. I think ECT, but I forgot, but the illness that, the brain scan, it looks like he was going through some kind of personal struggles because then they say it was suicidal. Anyway, 24 years old, a lot of promise, and you know how it is, Jerome, when these children are going through this moment, the family, those are from poor background, they take everybody with them, basically. So when they arrive in these kind of places, the whole family has arrived, and just for his life to be cut so short, so I just want to sympathy this out to the family. I know this is a great loss, very young, 24 years old.
24 years old. I was just looking at something here about the amount of suicide now in Liberia. I just pulled up this article about a young man who hanged himself in Peabody, and you sit there and you say, wow, for someone to reach, Johnny, this is your area here, for someone to have reached their waist end and say, you know what, I'm just gonna do away with it. I'm just gonna kill myself.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what someone goes through to hang yourself?
Yeah.
If you put yourself in a person's mind, I mean, you have to be absolutely at the end of everything, Johnny, for someone to take their own life.
Yeah, yes. And sometimes when these things happen and I read about it, again, it comes back to society. Society we live in play a very important role into how we make decisions, how we live, how we make progress, and everything else we do. And if you live in a society where you're looking for opportunities, you come to the point where you just come at a dead end. It's like you become blank. There's no other option, nothing else to think about.
it gets dangerous. And these things are all part of the duties and responsibilities of the state. If you look at in the context of the social contract, that theory is very big. It's about helping your people to have opportunities. Look, you are in the great USA. People commit suicide, and it still become an issue for the state, the federal government, or the state government, because people should not be committing suicide. And the people do research. Why are our citizens, why are our people committing suicide? What's the reason behind that? We ask the social scientists, the psychiatrists to do the research, and let's find solution to these problems.
Yeah.
But it's so funny that the young man in Peabody commit suicide. I mean,
yeah.
I hope we can, conduct investigation to know what led to this young man taking the decision. What's happening? They said that he wanted to make effort in doing business, and the business did not do well, or he tried to get involved with something, and some rules, some regulation, and stop him from going forward. They said that everything he tried to do to improve his life keep getting broken, keep fading, and he keep seeing himself keep declining and declining and declining. So many factors we have to look into. But again, it comes to those that control society. We have to think about these things and find solution to these things. This is where I want to enforce or put some money into mental health. Under the Ministry of Health, we need we need to do more mental health and education, mental health awareness, mental health assessment of the population. How many persons? The last time I was listening to one mental health program, out of every 4 persons in Liberia, I think 1 or 2 has a mental health problem.
Out of 4, that's almost 50%.
Yeah.
Yes. So that means, like I who hand himself, there are many people that may be in a direction soon, but because it's just because of other reasons, they may not just be at that point. So it's a concerning matter, seriously. As a Liberian, as a patriotic Liberian, if you see one of your kind doing such thing, it should concern you, it should worry you. So anyway, it's sad that this young man will take his life, but we should not allow this to be happening all the time in our society.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sorry for taking it off course. I just what we're talking about, what they call it here, ECT, is a long chronic something. Yeah, but anyway, thanks for
and some of the things that we like about the advanced country. Just imagine you playing soccer back home, right? You button the ball, you're butting the ball, you're doing all.
Yeah.
You don't know at a very young age. You don't look when some of the people kick that ball.
Yeah.
We say the person got shot. When they hit that ball and you butt it, do you know what impact it has on your brain?
Yeah.
And if you do that over a long period of time. So in this country, when these things happen, like this young man, very, very futuristic. He has everything. He made it at end. He's making millions of dollars, but he still has issues. So now that he has done this, they are now going to open his brain, and they're going to find out what was happening to him. We had a guy here in Miami, Junior Seya, very popular, one of the legendary players, committed suicide.
Yeah. When
they opened his brain, from hitting his head on stuff, segment of his brain disappeared.
Disappeared, totally out.
Well, just like water in his brain, part of it. So, but how then do we deal with this? So in an advanced society like this, what it did was, now they have begun to redesign the helmet, the protective gear. In fact, the receiver now, the kickoff, they redesigned it.
Yeah.
So the collision does not lead to injury. So they're tweaking it, but they would have never reached that decision if they didn't have the science and the technology.
In fact, the first thing they did was the visible part of it. They took measure. If you suffer a concussion, you're automatically out of the game. The doctors have to come and check you. You know what I mean? you know, these people, they always try to find solutions. I don't know about the Plebo incident, but yeah, it's just really. But anyway,
Yeah, but
thanks for the
the reason I brought this up is, do you know how many talented young folks and Johnny here, we all play soccer back home, play football. Do you know how many young folks, talented young folks, lost their career because they broke their ankle, they broke their hand, they broke their leg, and there's no. I mean, some of the folks, because there's no practical medication, they are deformed. Simple stuff. You see people, their leg, the way they're walking because they broke their leg, never went to the hospital, the foot healed by itself.
Yeah.
So it became deformed.
Talk about people rubbing chalk. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? People break their leg, they go to the country doctor.
They go to the country doctor. They don't know whether an artery will puncture, whether there was actually a break or fracture. You go to the man in the interior, then they say the man will re-break your foot. To set it. Can you imagine the man re-breaking the foot to set it? So these are the things we are talking about, my folks.
But Jerome, talking about that re-breaking, right? Look, I know we're getting off. We got to go back to our regular. But my one of my sons played soccer, and he injured, I think, his wrist. You could see the bone protruding, and I followed the ambulance, and they took him to PACE. You know, PACE here is where you know they do all of the therapeutic, you know, and they actually had to force his bone in place. I mean, my wife was crying. She left the room and went outside. I mean, physically, squeeze that bone back in place. It's a physical, manual process. In spite of all the technology, they had to do that, put it back in, and then before the technology went to work, you know, where you know they will bandage it and you know wrap it up, put the what they call it, the thing, I forgot the thing. The cast, put the cast on there and all of that stuff. So it's really it's something that will make you, if you're queasy, you might collapse. My wife had to run outside, she couldn't stand it. It's painful. But anyway, Robert, welcome. It's been a minute, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Mr. Nyenwolo. Definitely.
So, Garguah, welcome to the show. We are talking about patriotism. Are you a patriot, and what makes you a patriot?
That's a funny question.
Oh, are you? I mean, you know, I'm not testing you. I'm just asking you. Are you a patriot?
It depends. I mean, it depends. That's a good question, but you know, it depends what that definition means to Liberia. You know, black and white. What is black and white in other countries might be seen as a different color in Liberia. Liberia is a very unique place. So patriotism, for me, patriotism is not just it's just not in words, but it's in deeds, you know, and it entails a lot than just public offices. You know, it's being loyal to country, you know, seeking the absolute best for your country, and a lot more. So I would think that I'm a patriotic Liberian citizen because I love my country. I want to see the best for my country, and it's not just in my words; it's in my deeds. You know, I mean, as a young man, I did my part, and I continue to. I spent over 10 years of my life giving back to Liberia. We were able to, through my organization, uplift more than 5,000 students, some of whom are in this country studying today, some are in Europe. We were able to impact schools, build some reading rooms when we couldn't do our library. And we partner with different NGOs that you know we continue to impact lives today.
Yeah, that's commendable.
And, you know, and even though we haven't had any fundraiser since COVID-19, just because I've switched. I've been really busy with my own family and professional life. I still, I'm still responsible for sponsoring over 100 kids in Liberia. But beyond that, I want to see the best for my country. I want to see the best leaders. I want to see the best results. I want to see us moving forward. I want to see us compete with our neighboring our counterparts in Ghana, Sierra Leone, and other countries. I want the best for our country. So it depends. I think I'm a patriot, but based on the definition of what patriotism is or what it means in Liberia, others might think otherwise.
Johnny, we are talking about patriotism, and with this subject, we've been talking about it all week. It's not going away because the people in Grand Bassa County, the young folks in Grand Bassa County, decided to put this in writing that they are disappointed. They need more. That Grand Bassa County owes it to its citizens, especially you for one, that a county that is so endowed for so long with all the major corporations, the country is backward. So they are saying the county is now withholding to what the social contract is. The social contract theory says the government has responsibility to its citizens, and then the citizens in return reciprocate. But if you see here, where the survey said 95%, if the border were to be open today, 95% of the country will want to leave. Are they patriots too? Do you blame them for leaving? Does that make them non-patriot?
No, I mean, Mr. Gilman and Robert, welcome, my brother, being a whiner. So, yes, so I think, I would like to put it in the context of economics, supply and demand, right? If you put it, you got to come to the point where you got to have an equilibrium where the state is playing its role and the citizens are playing their role. And then you have a functional patriotic society. Like I said yesterday, I believe clearly that Liberians have always shown to be patriotic. That is the demand side. They've always played their role. The supply side that's come from the state, they are the ones that have been relying on doing or playing their role to ensure that whatever loyalty and commitment citizens are showing, they get the benefit of it. And there are a few areas that you should do those things that people say, yes, I'm proud to be a Liberian because my state is doing this for me. Number one, education. If you can provide your citizens, your young population, quality education, conducive learning environment, they feel proud, they feel dignified, they feel that they can compete with anybody in the South region or anywhere else in the world when it comes to education kind of knowledge. They will respect and they will say, yes, I'm a Liberian. In my role as a patriotic Liberian, my state, my government are doing this for me. Have service provision. But what I see in Liberia is that our leaders, the state managers, want us to always behave patriotic by serving them and giving them everything they need as big shops to live good life. Meanwhile, we the citizens do not have anything in return. Nothing in return. And also what I would say, the government is doing well and they're doing that. Comparing giving you $1,000 and to give me services, and you give me $1 services, $1,000 versus $1. How can I be that you are doing well for me? You understand? Citizens should have access. Right now, we are in the modern world. The young people are interested in technology. They want to be on the internet. What are we doing to make our young people feel that, yes, my state is doing well, I can get online from anytime, I can get data for a lower cost and be able to communicate with my brothers and sisters, my friends, my peers in other part of the world. So it's not just one way to say, yeah, the government say the people are not patriotic. No, for me, I believe that Liberians, all our Liberians, they are patriotic, they are committed, they are loyal to the state of Liberia. But those who manage the state of Liberia are the ones that are not giving back to the people in return for their patriotic and services to the country in terms of being loyal, being committed, to the extent that if you go even on the market grounds, our poor Liberian men and women that go out there sacrificing in all the difficult conditions to come to the market, to bring food to the market, to make sure people can go and get food to eat. The young people that go around trying to improve security, the young men and women in the security sector, right, with minimum income, minimum salary, they are still doing their best to be out to provide also level of security. The young men and women in the immigration, in the fire service, in the police, in the army. You understand? People say, oh yeah, it's a choice. They make a choice to be in the army. Yeah, they made a choice to serve the state. In the return, the state must give them those services that will make them feel proud. To say, yeah, I'm a police officer, I'm a medical personnel, I'm a security personnel, medical personnel for my state. What are we doing in return? So for people to feel proud and be dignified in their functions and their duties as Liberians in the federal capacity. So I think as we discuss patriotism, I'm hoping that some of our national leaders will listen to this platform and take some notes from here and see how they can improve their policies that will deal with providing services and making people to get some level of income that will make them proud and dignified in this country. Dignity matters in patriotism. How can I be dignified when I cannot afford my rent? You imagine a rent of $500 Liberian. I was just in Lofa. Young men and women who live from the various districts to come and live in Vanjama to attend the Lofa County University. And they're paying for room $500 Liberian, less than $5 US per month. They are struggling to earn that amount to pay for that room. You got that, Mr. Gayman, Nagbe, and my brother Gay and Robert. Young men and women have left from Zozo, left from Vahun, from Foya, from Kolahun, from Salaye to come and live in Vanjama to attend the Lofa County University in pursuit of knowledge, right? And they got a rent room. And the room they're renting in Vanjama, the ones I spoke to, someone they tell me the cost of room is $500 Liberian, which is less than $5 US, which is almost maybe around $3 to $4, for example. They cannot stay afford that amount. So what made me proud? Where's my dignity as a Liberian? You know what I'm saying? Now I got hear you, Mr. Gayman, saying people, parents coming home, they gotta be high instead of coming around maybe 12 or 1 o'clock midnight because they want to hire from a landlord. And how much is that amount so much for that room they're paying for? Because people going for o'clock teaching that their rent is $15 US, $25 US, $20 US per room. They cannot afford that in 30 days. Because the first thing looking for food for the children, medical services. Yeah, I understand in America you got universal health service, have something for people, right? When will our Liberian people ever be proud to knock that chair and say, because of my government, I can go to a hospital and be treated, and I don't have to pay too much money? Those are things that will generate and bring about people being patriotic and loyal to the country. So let me stop there so that my colleagues on the show can say some things.
Mr. Nagbe, we got this thinker, a social thinker by the name of Thomas Hobbes. He said the social contract should be, he says that we should have strong leaders, right? Because when you have strong leaders, it diminishes the potential for chaos. But in return, the people allow him to rule or her to rule. But in return, he has to provide security. Security, not just the national security, but we talk about things like education, healthcare, and all of these things. If the leaders are not doing that, which is their end, they're not holding their end. So what make me to be obligated that when war comes, I should put my hand on, or I should put my life on that instead of going across the border to another country?
Yeah, look, the leader, the responsibility is on our leaders to help the larger population of our people provide the basic necessities, right? Safe drinking water, electricity, the ability to go outside and find food to eat. The one thing you would say about the Western world, yeah, there are people who are homeless and people who are hungry, but that is relatively small. Whereas back home is the other way around. You know, you have a lot more people who cannot afford the basic necessities, you know, and this is what is responsible for all of the agitation. You know, people are unhappy, and so the leader has a responsibility to make sure, you know, that the people he is leading or she is leading are doing the right thing. You have to make the difficult calls. You know, you have to look at your own son in the eye and tell him, son, that's not happening. You know, you're not going to take that $1 million from that investor who we know is up to no good, you know, or you're not, you know, you look at the managing director at RIA and say, okay, oh, that contract you're signing because of that brown envelope, this contract is not viable, you know. And it's this very government that during Ellen time, I think 68 of those useless contracts, I think only 2 of them were found to be worthy of, you know, it's only because the most of them go to the negotiating table without any patriotic thoughts on their mind, only self. You know, they want to put the eating up front. You know, and so yeah, it is difficult for you to charge someone who is struggling to even find food to eat. You know, you go to them and talk about patriotism. You know, they will. You know, this is about you have the option, you know, the capacity to choose. Most of our people don't have that capacity to choose because they don't have 2 choices. There's only one choice. Find it and eat, you know. But there are people who will choose whether to go to, you know, I don't know what the best restaurant is in town now. You know, whether to go to that restaurant or that restaurant because they can afford it. Whether to delay the chopping and let the contract go through. Those are the people who are the challenges actually, you know, meant for. Whether they would choose to continue to enrich themselves over country, you know, or put country first, you know, and that's the leader's responsibility. You have to marshal your troops so that um you lead them to, you know, to the battle for the purpose for which, you know, you were given a charge. That's what leaders are supposed to do. So I agree with the philosopher you're quoting, and that's why, you know, they are called the leaders, to lead us, you know, the rest of us. You have to be able to marshal, you know, your troops and inspire us to do the right thing, lead by example. And nowadays, we can say that about most of our leaders. I mean, which of the guys in Monrovia now would you say readily is leading by example? Who? You know? And you know how people say when the head is rotten, the rest of the fish is rotten. You know? This president, 40 years of experience, you know, he comes into the mansion. It's like he doesn't even know where the president's office is located in the mansion. He's struggling to figure everything out. I don't know if Joseph Boakai is just inherently corrupt or incompetent. I don't think so. I just think, you know, I don't know, but I just think he's honestly he's still trying to figure this thing out. And it is unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
Well,
You know?
listen, in the United States, they will say, let's go to the videotape or let's go to the record. During the campaign, they said Joseph Boakai was at LPRC. Where was his record there? He was at PR, whatever it is. He was at
LPRC, all of them.
Agriculture. He worked everywhere.
Everywhere. That's right. Everywhere.
And there is no verifiable record in either one of the places that he did something that was transformative. Let's look at the green machine that were in FOIA. They talked about somebody brought 50 million machines that is sitting in FOIA. Okay, Robert Garguah, let's talk about the contract theory here. Let's talk about, we're talking about Thomas Hobbes, right? Versus Locke. Locke is saying, John Locke is saying, let the people have the free will, limited government, but provide will for the folks so they can flourish. And then Thomas is saying, yes, that's true, but we need a strong central government that will do a lot for the people in exchange for patriotism. But if a woman went to, like in the United States here, people who don't have medical insurance, when you go to the emergency room, it's a law. They have to treat you. It is the law. In Liberia, we reported it here where a woman gave birth at Redemption Hospital on the streets. Because they said she never had the money paid before she got in, and she had and the women and children surrounding her, shield her on the street. She's having baby on the sidewalk, live. Do you expect that child that is born in such a condition to look at Liberia as a patriot?
Well, again, that's why I said it depends on how patriotism is defined in Liberia, and how is also demonstrated in our day-to-day lifestyle. How we look at Liberia as a country. When the civil rights movement started, a lot uh, of white America thought that MLK was not a patriotic citizen because they saw his advocacy for freedom and justice for all as an attack on America. And I can remember, and he said in one of his speeches that he felt like the civil rights movement was a patriotic act, right? Because he was advocating and admonishing the government to respect its own ideas, the American ideas of freedom and justice for all. And as history tells us, of course, we know what Black people went through in this country. That part of the Constitution and that part of America's ideas did not reflect on Black and brown folks in this country. And so you have to understand the ideas. What are the ideas of Liberia? And when we talk about foreign policy and what that looks like, right? It has to align with what we are as a people. Have we gotten to the place where, Mr. Jerome, that we honestly understand the ideas of our country and how the decisions we make as citizens, as a unit, or as political institutions, how that how that affect how we govern, how it affects the ideas of Liberia, right? And so patriotism is not necessarily foolery, right? Where if people don't have the means to survive, right, uh, and you are giving them opportunity in other places, man, you can't tell them that they lack patriotism because they're going to seek opportunities in those places, right? If people cannot have access to great health care, if people cannot have access to good roads, if the government are not investing in security, financial security, and the rest of you can't question the patriotism of a hungry. But I think it's important that we understand what patriotism actually means. It don't have to be in the definition of how other countries look at it, but other countries have been able to tie patriotism in the ideas of their country. If I were to ask you, Mr. Namwe or Mr. John, and those that are watching, what are the Liberia ideas? What brings us together as one people, other than counting meats, right? What can we say we can disagree on policy? We can disagree on ideology. We can disagree, but what brings us together, right? As a people, what brings us together as one country to say, you know what, comes to this, we are on the same page. We're going to put politics aside. When it comes to being our brother's keeper, we will be our brother's keeper. We will protect each other. When it comes to ensuring that our neighbors if they don't have water to drink or food to eat, we will be there for them. we will protect our own over foreigner. What is that idea? And we don't know what that idea is right now. We don't know, outside of politicians just being all over the place and confusing folks. We don't know what that idea is. So patriotism is just not a word, it's an action. It's an action. And when people, or when citizens, are left to fend for themselves, as we see happen in Liberia right now. If 90% of Liberians were given an opportunity to travel outside of the country, they would not be traveling outside the country because they hate Liberia, because they don't want to stay in Liberia. They will be traveling outside of the country because Liberia and its leaders have failed to create the environment for them to thrive, for them to live, for them to for them to be provided. Look, listen, our government in many cases have violated the human rights of Liberians in Liberia. I
Clearly.
mean, that's being
I agree,
honest. They
agree
have
with you.
violated the human rights of a lot of Liberians because Liberians are living in a country with no dignity. I mean, we joke when it comes to Zogos in Liberia, but are Liberians living in Liberia with dignity, respect, and some of those key human rights values and things that are expected? No. So you don't expect them. If Liberia, I can almost compare to what MLK and others were fighting, the powers that be in the civil rights movement, when it came to ensuring that blacks, were given equal opportunity, that they could use the same restroom, they could go out there and get the same jobs based on merits. The powers that be, the 10%, if we had a serious voice and we didn't have belly-driven people and hungry people, if we had serious voices, we can take the governmental tax and say, listen, you have failed to provide Liberians with the simple human rights, dignity, respect, and just honor living in our country. They have not done that. So how do you expect those people to be patriotic citizens when you have not created an environment for them to even thrive in their own country? So, again, we have a long way to go because a lot of our people still do not understand what patriotism means. How do they tie that into the ideas of Liberia, and what role do they play in uplifting those ideas?
Great. Mr. Nagbe, you are a teacher, you are an educator, and I will take you to task on this one. Robert Garguah talked about the ideals of a nation. And Dr. Martin Luther King took the United States to task every time. And he said the ideal of this nation was the realization that all men were created equal and guaranteed by their inalienable rights to freedom, okay, liberty and justice. And he says, based upon that, the Constitution of the United States is like a promissory note. He said the United States at the time were failing. It was a check that they wrote and they couldn't cash. What is Liberia's ideals? What is it that we can hold Liberia to besides the Constitution that was written at Harvard? What is Liberia's ideals that I can say, sir, you have failed your folks. You have written a check. Not only we can't cash the check, but it's a bad check. What is it that we can hold Liberian to?
Well,
when they put their foot, men and women put their foot on the ground.
the Seleke is in the back. I've let Myean know. So, but Seleke has been in the back for a while. Look, it is very simple, Jerome. What drives the people in this country is pursuit of happiness. The simple pursuit of happiness. Everyone wants to be happy, and so we have to create that enabling environment for everyone to be happy. What is it that makes you happy? First of all, we have to meet the basic minimum necessities: the ability to put food on the table, the ability to turn the switch and put light on, the ability to go in the bathroom, turn the faucet on and turn it off, or turn the hot water on. Those basic necessities, right? And then you talk about the rest of the pyramid, nice car, fine home, beautiful wife, beautiful children, all of that other stuff. But yeah, the government has the responsibility to create the enabling environment for the pursuit of happiness of its citizenry. And that's where the question of equity and all of this comes in. How is it in Liberia? Somebody's getting paid 15,000 United States dollars a month. Huh? I'm not even going to the bank governor with 56,000 or whatever it is. How is that possible?
He
And
said,
we think it's normal.
He said you made a mistake. It wasn't 56, but when they added 57, he said, oh.
You know? So how is it that we are calling ourselves normal people? We live in a country with such a big divide, the divide between the haves and the have-nots. You know, how is that normal? You're making $15,000 a month, and there's some people who can't even get $3 a day to eat. You know, and so this is so basically the government. The challenge of the government is, first of all, lifting up this base that has been struggling, the downtrodden. You know, I mean, our people are lower than the usual. Our people is lower than the quota on the road. That's how low our people are falling. We have a responsibility to bring them up. This is all this is about for Liberia for now. Yeah, pursuit of happiness. First of all, create that capacity for everybody in Monrovia in Liberia, not Monrovia alone, to get up in the morning and decide what kind of food they want to go and eat. You do that. You get up, you want to decide whether you want coffee in your kitchen, whether you want to drink tea or you want coffee, you know, you want oatmeal, you want grapes, you know. Why can't everybody in Liberia have that problem? That problem of deciding what to eat today. Why can't people have that problem? That's a good problem to have. People have it on the side. You get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You can get in your car if you don't want to do anything in your kitchen. You go to the little coffee shop and get nice, fresh brewed coffee. Why can't we do that in Liberia? You know, so it's the challenge there. I need to start with the basics. You know, give our people that opportunity not to spend 24 or 25, 23 of the 24 hours worrying about whether they will eat today. Let's get them beyond that problem, you know. And this is where the judicial management of the resources come in. Because as a leader, we give you the key to the national treasury. We depend on you to make the right choices for our people. And that's why we haven't been lucky to find a leader who's going to do that. And that's what we need. So the leader will help us manage our resources so that we can do good by the greater, majority of our people.
Can I just say this real quick? For instance,
Yes,
right,
go ahead,
since we're
Rob.
talking about this, the Liberia ideas, or some might say the Liberia value, what are our core values as people, and one of the things that I often hear is that whenever politicians or some holier than thou Christians in Liberia want to justify some of their positions, they talk about how Liberia was founded on Christian principles. And this, every time I hear about this, even in school, I always wonder, do they understand the true meaning of Christian principles and the foundation of the teaching of Jesus Christ? What does that mean when Liberian says Liberia was founded on Christian principles, other than trying to um, take away the rights of others who practice religions outside of the Christian doctrine. By the way, I'm a Christian, right? But when we look at the key principles of Christianity, love, compassion, humility, forgiveness, integrity, justice, are we as a country, and how we govern, how we treat each other, and even our long civil crisis, right? And even after that, right? How we kill each other, and are we living the life that Christian principles demand, or do we just say that because it sounds good? So when we talk about the Liberia ideas, when MLK talk about freedom and justice for all, right? And how do you perfect that? How do you perfect that when one race is discriminated against only based on the color of their skin, right? Or someone else is discriminated against based on sexual orientation, you have to have some serious conversation. You have to have open-minded people at the table to understand when you speak, when you alter Christian principles, then you must be willing to understand or to defend that your livelihood, your lifestyle, how we govern our governance style is a reflection of love, compassion, forgiveness, integrity, justice. And justice is very important. Are we living that lifestyle? So we need to get back to the drawing board, Mr. Jerome. Patriotism is very important because when we're patriotic citizens, we understand our responsibility. And we have the most powerful responsibility in Liberia because we can hire and fire politicians. That means if they are not performing to the expectations of our own demands and the demands of the ideas or the core values of our country, we can go back to the drawing board to make adjustments and say, you know what? You got to go. You're still Liberian, but you do not reflect what our country foundational principles are. Do we know that? Are voters educated enough on those principles? And are we trained enough to say, you know what? I'm a patriotic Liberian citizen because I support, I'm advocating, I'm perfecting in whatever capacity the ideas or the core values of our country. I think we are lost. We are lost, and it shows in the way we govern, it shows in the way we treat each other, it shows in the way we behave, and we are just lost. We are lost.
Wow.
I
So,
quickly want to add
so
to
Mr.
Robert
Gilman,
and Seleke's comment. The only thing I will add, let's reduce the term limit because you make a mistake and buy something, you want to return it. You can't wait 1 year later before you return it. Why are we giving this? Why are we giving people 6 years, 9 years? 6 years, 9 years? No.
They're
If
not
we realize we made a mistake after 4 years, let's kick the bums out.
Did not tell you that Liberia had the lowest IQ? Let me welcome Seleke. Seleke, welcome. We got 20 more minutes left here, and
Jerome, I disagree with that comment. I think that's we can't use a plain a blanket brush to just paint everyone. I think I disagree. I think we're one of the most intelligent. I keep saying we don't lack intelligence. We don't lack competence. I think we've given positions to
All right,
incompetent
we
people.
exclude your wife. The rest of us.
Robert.
No,
let's take out Robert.
how can you have low IQ? The kind of Liberian that I've seen, what they've done.
Robert.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
I'm only here.
Jerome, take my wife from there too, please.
Okay. Listen, Robert.
Mr. Gilman, 1 minute, please.
My job is to give you the facts, and then you can decide what you want. Let me welcome Seleke real quick. Seleke, we got you, Kimmy. We got 20 minutes to go, but welcome to the show.
Yeah, I know you want everybody's that late.
Oh, you see, Johnny, did you hear me use the word late? I said we got 20 minutes to go. You see,
Yeah, but that's a good way of saying
you.
it.
You come over there, you see the policeman. Otherwise, you say, "Oh, I didn't do it." The policeman said, "What you didn't do?" Now, let me investigate what you do here. Go ahead.
Good to be here, Mr. Gayman. I've been busy with school since tomorrow is Friday.
Oh Lord, there we go again.
So good to be on the closing argument, Mr. Johnny. How you doing? I hear that the Clarence is here, but we've not seen him yet. I think he met with our SG and some other Liberians here. Yeah, but good to be on the closing argument again. So it's a great conversation. Today I saw the flyers in the chat room, and one of the things that caught my attention today was the youth leader in Nimba, his stand about the UP, the Unity Party, not incorporating in some other young folks into that governance, but they will always reach out to them to mobilize their fellow young folks whenever they're having a big rally coming up like December 6th. And so he's been on the radio recently, on the social media, talking about if I don't have a credential to have a job in the government, and then I should not have a credential to mobilize people, and so I feel like he's right. But again, if you look at it, I would say to you that the moment UP call him right now and give him a job, forget it. Advocacy will never be about the rest of the other folks. It will just be about him. And that's how we've seen things in the country. And regarding the Brother Robert and Mr. Nambi, that different points, because I've been watching in the back. For me, I see a complete disconnect between our leaders and the Liberian people. And here is why.
Not to cut you off, put it in context for us, in the way you've seen it, what makes a patriot, and why should somebody be a patriot?
Okay, I will come to that. Let me first lay my point. So as I mentioned, I see the complete disconnect between our leaders and the Liberian people, and for whatsoever reason that is. And let me give you a quick example. Just this evening, Mr. Nambi, I was checking on my Facebook page and I came across this Ghanaian journalist, and then he was talking about President Mahama trip to Japan, and this same private jet stuff and all of that. And he talked about how the president spent 20 hours in Dubai, waiting for another flight to go to Japan, simply because he was afraid to get a private jet, to go. That man is scared, so he had to wait for 20 hours in Dubai. But in Liberia, the government official will come and defend while the men using and Mahama brother, the biological brother, has a private jet. That journalist talk about all those things. Joseph Boga brother get private jet. You will be using a private jet and be giving him money. And to hell with the Liberian people, whatsoever they say. They say, making it easier for and so forth. So I see people do things in Liberia without regarding how the citizens will react. And unfortunately, our population, our country, we don't get to hold our leaders accountable. Look at the fight ability is on in the house. How many of us Liberians, we've come out and say, you know what, we're standing with this man and the fight is on to audit the house. It's a good fight. Let's rally ourselves and go as the same way we deal with the jobs issues and go to the Capitol building there and demand for our leaders that they should be audited. How many of us? But instead, people are giving job. Instead of doing a job, they don't do it. They come on the internet and defend those different things. So I see a complete disconnect. And until we as a people, and I don't know how we're going to figure out that, to kind of make our people understand, to stand for the right, to demand from the different leaders, to do what is right. And most especially, first of all, most of our leaders in the country, they don't get to tell what they will do and will vote for them. So how can you hold somebody accountable when they not tell you what they will do? When election time comes, we either voting based on, Mr. Nambi, my friend, we used to be on closing arguments, so you're running, I was supporting and all of that, instead of listening to what he has to offer. And so these are the different cases we have. So regarding your question, Mr. Gayman, you talk about how do I understand being a patriot, right? Is that a question?
Yes. Okay.
So for me, my understanding of being a patriot is basically being loyal to your country. No matter putting aside your religious affiliation, your tribal affiliation, and just being loyal to your country, what is right, and regardless of who is involved, whether it is your political leader who you support or your tribal man, your religious leaders or whatsoever, once it has to do with your country, the interests of your country, and they're just putting your country first. That's how I see it. And I see many Liberians, that lack that. We kind of take self-interest over patriotism. Once something benefits you, Mr. Gayman, and it don't benefit the rest of the Liberian people, you don't care about it.
So what's about the social contract we are talking about? The government has its responsibility to a citizen, and the citizen in return has responsibility to the government. What happens if the government fails to do those things that it's supposed to do? Why should the citizen be patriotic?
So you say, why should the citizen be patriotic?
Yeah, the government is supposed to provide education, healthcare, sanitation, all of these things.
The citizen, first of all, and that's why today I think Senator Conan, he made a post today about enforcing this civic education in different schools, and then kind of educating us to know our right, know our priorities, what we stand for, and and the different ideology. And first of all, just ask yourself a question, Mr. Gayman. People who say they are seditions, unity partisans, ANC, CMCOs, or whatsoever you call it, what is the ideology they are following those different political parties? There's no ideology in Liberia. You just follow individual, and that is it. So the first thing before the citizen can even stand up to demand from the leaders, the citizen themselves, we have a big problem, Mr. Gayman. But let me close on this. I hear one of the key points that I hear people talk about, Brother Rabbi and Mr. Nagbe talk about, is this tendency of trying to bring one another down in Liberia. And that is something we really have to work on. Because I don't know what I stand to benefit if I try to bring Mr. Gayman down, because of one or two differences, or because I want to show to the people that I'm smart. And this is getting even people in the diaspora, Liberians that are not in Liberia. We see this happening among ourselves. It is kind of unfortunate, because if you leave Liberia, especially you leave a country that you're going to study, the expectation from your family members, from your friends, your schoolmates or your former classmates, they grow that expectation for you. They expect you to think differently, to do things differently. And you continue to do the same things. And I will give you a simple example. There's a young Liberian, she was here going to school, and she just defended her thesis. She was doing master. So she went back to Liberia. And the grading system in Liberia is kind of different. Like in Liberia, you should get 75% before you pass a course. But here in Rwanda, you just need 50% to pass. And so when you in 60 to 70, you can be a second class student here, second class upper. 80 to 100, you can be a first class. But in Liberia, you should be 90 to 100 before you be a first class student. So this girl, she defended her thesis. She went back. I think she's a sedition. And so some blog, based on the information she shared with them, some blogs started posting her, "Oh, welcome back, our Monserrado County chair. She graduated, cum laude and all of that." So Liberians that are here, they went, "We don't have Latin here in Rwanda. Why she lying to you for?" In fact, her name is not even on the list of people that are graduated, and they get already defended. So I'm like, why are you guys going after this girl? So why you stand to benefit? Do you know her grade? Most of you that are going to go after her to kind of check, you don't know her grades.
Well,
you don't know her marks. But just because we want to show that, you in Rwanda too, and she's not, if you get her information you want to share, you can do that on a different note. But not by going after one another. But these are the different issues. But most importantly, Mr. Gayman, there's a complete disconnect between Liberians and our leaders. And until we can figure that out, and somebody told me during the last election that based on the way Liberian people think, that 80 to 70% of Liberians are not qualified to vote. Not because of the issue, because you go and see your Zogo, Mr. Gayman, the man will see you. In fact, someone that will just counter you. They don't know which party you're from, but because you went in Joey Asha, they say, "Hey, our papa, we're voting for the mayor. We're voting for the mayor." And as soon as you get the money, they see another UP mayor go in there. And, just like that. So how the kind of people will come and make decisions for millions of people for 6 years? People who not making decisions based on what, on an informed, platform or policy, but because you just give them $5 or $10, and then they go to vote for a specific candidate, and that person wins. And then people who are knowledgeable on top of the issue, the person that wins, they will be serving all of them for 6 years. And so this is what our president's statement came from. But there's a complete disconnect, and we have to figure that out.
Thank you. Johnny, you're closing. We're on our three-hour mark, so we got to go.
Yeah. So thank you, Mr. Gayman. I mean, from what I heard from my three colleagues, Mr. Nagbe, Robert, and Seleke, Mr. Gayman, if you go onto the Liberian Constitution, I think it's on general principles. I hope tomorrow you will have time to just read it, or if you can just catch it or quick on your computer and read it. That will tell you about this, the duties and responsibilities of the state. And I think Our leaders are the ones that are not patriotic, agreeing with Nagbe, agreeing with Rabo, and also with my brother Seleke. You know, they are the one that are mostly unpatriotic. Because if you are patriotic, the kind of way you allocate the budget, it will tell me that people in government, our leaders are patriotic. The way they will set the budget, allocate the budget. Because if you are patriotic, it means that you are concerned about your people. You are concerned about the land. You are concerned about the nation. You understand? So leaders from president, from the executive, to the legislature, to the judiciary, they are the unpatriotic, in my view, because of the way, especially those legislature, for example, if the two branches, the executive and legislative branch, they are the ones that are most unpatriotic, most unpatriotic, because of the way they set the budget, the way they allocate funding in the budget. You understand? Why will you leave hospitals and schools not as a priority for your government? We prioritize giving people money for scratch card, for fuel for their car, fee for generator, give them $45,000 car to be used in 3 years, and then following 3 years, another $45,000 car. That is a clear indication of being unpatriotic, unconcerned about your people, and not knowing your roles and duties as a leader, because the state has the duty bearer function. But again, let me close by saying, even though drug is a serious challenge to society, but the most challenge to society is corruption. If we fight corruption, we would have fought drug. If we fight corruption, we would have fought the issue of medical supply in the hospital. If we fight corruption, we would have reduced the issue of education. So corruption is the number one enemy. I should fight. Even corruption should be considered as a real public emergency, in addition to what we're talking about fighting drugs. So let me say thank you, Gilmel. Thank you for keeping the show up for 3 hours. And let me say thank you also to all our viewers and listeners. I'm sorry if I said anything wrong to somebody. Please forgive me, but that's my opinion. Thank you.
That's correct. Ladies and gentlemen, before we go, tomorrow we're going to have the all-star lineup, Tavina, Cole, and a group of professional medical practitioners will be here, including my favorite practitioner, Abby Tyler, will be here. Dr. Zuma will be here. We'll be talking about breast cancer and women's health. Let me welcome Eric McGill. Let me welcome Amos Brown. Otaka Kahu, welcome to the show. Joe Manjala, welcome as usual. Thank you very much for tuning in. Seleke, you're closing. 2 minutes.
2 minutes? Okay.
Yeah, we're not responsible for you coming late. Let me tell you now.
Yeah, but I think it was a great show, and always good to be here on the closing argument. But again, we look for a game is a game, man. Look what happened recently. Your government, the government you pay tax to, they went and put some money into buses. They brought it in the country. The figures that they're calling to the people say is not even accurate. They say they bring 37 buses, but bonus is 7. And they're celebrating that all on Facebook. It speaks a lot. And nobody cared to ask what the rest of the 30 bus. That because you told out 37, and now the people only seeing 7 buses. And these are the different issues. Again, it's up to us. And that is why sometimes, when we're talking about people like Samuel Koga, Jeremiah Kun, projecting those people to be presidential candidate comes 2029, for me, I can have an issue with it. Because these guys have been in the legislature for 18, 15 years or whatever it is. They've not been able to do anything. Every time they go for re-election, they're always talking about tribal sentiment. Oh, I'm a guild man, I'm a Mano man, and all that kind of stuff. They can point to any, legislative, how they call it, bills they put on the poll that is currently impacting the lives of the people. Nothing. But all they will do, they just go and get somebody scholarship. At least looking really last time, we asking for a tangible. Telling us, oh, I get students in India, in Cyprus, and all the kind of. You're a lawmaker, and today you aspiring to be president of the country, and the president, and that's what somebody told me too, Mr. Gayman. that the presidency, nobody will lie to you and say the presidency is for everybody. Like, bro, anybody can wake up and say, I won't be president. And to the extent that Prophet King also he won't be president. You know, and it's okay when we talk, we say, oh, that the men right, that the men right. And I'll close by them, Mr. Gayman. In the US, in every developing countries, they have a law, especially when about driving. In the US, for example, I think there's a law there that before you drive, you should be 18 years old. But simply because your child, your son or your daughter is 18, will you give your son or your daughter a car key to drive because he's 18 years old? The answer is no. He or she must know how to drive. So because the Constitution says you get your right to support anybody, doesn't mean you can just follow anybody that come on and say they won't be president. No. You have to look at the person. You know, but like anybody can just wake up. And someone told me also, Mr. Gayman, that in France, they get restriction. Not anybody can wake up and say they want to run for presidency or any government job. You know, and this person studied in France. You know, but for Liberia, we get it and say, oh, the Constitution say we get right to support anybody, and so I get my right. I'm a sedition, I'm a unity partisan, you know, I will follow Prophet Key and all that kind of stuff. You know, Prophet Key is somebody you can even mention in the around presidency, you know, the likes of Koga, you know, and other people. And until we can change that kind of mindset, Mr. Gayman, you know, we will continue to talk. Anything about it? More Ali, go and check a post. One time, so United Partisans were expressing a frustration on a post. Say, we regret our the message, go take your vote back. Is possible? No. You can't take your vote back. So that the chicken may get it, other guy say, go and take your vote back. You can't take it back. 6 years will finish. And some of them, at the end of the 6-year tenure, they will come and start giving them money. And to them, everything is they go again, they keep minutes 6 years. Some of the people that were in the struggle for CDC 2005, when you thought you see going against your fellow oppositions, and that is not the case, but this is a reality. People that printed their own t-shirt, Mr. Gayman, someone is still sleeping in Zinran house or horses in Loken Town, you know, all the other slum communities. But people like Akara's grave, you know, Jefferson Koji now is in Europe doing his master, and that has seditions. They're right there. They don't even get access to internet. When they receive electricity for 1 week, they happy. They say, "Oh, the LEC boss is doing well." Is that a normal country? Yeah. As long as I can afford to put current in my meter, I will get current for a whole year, stable. And this is right in Africa, you know. And we have to also create institutions that can kind of create a working relationship between the government of Liberia and Liberians. For example, here in Rwanda, every month we have the same policy in Liberia, but look, the business people is spoiled out. Every month, first Saturday, Mr. Gayman, no businesses open yet, whether you're a commercial driver, your store owner, everybody, you clean your community, you clean your environment every first Saturday of the month. But we get in Liberia, the business people will go and open a store and be selling. And you know what I'm saying? We get it. We get it. The Rwanda governance board, and that for those people, institution in our governance, they are responsible to provide annual report on the government, using data to guide policy, you know, and provide recommendation for improvement. But for us, every other independent institution will provide recommendation to our government. We're not listening. We'll say that opposition people. But as soon as Americans say the investment climate change, and looking at it, things that we know are happening, then now it becomes serious to us. And so these are things that we need to figure out. Until then, we'll continue to talk. And for us that on the media talking, Mr. Gayman, I take God to beg you, because you can be the chief moderator on some of these discussions, you know, on so many occasions about projecting Samuel Koga to be president, comes to your vice president. I know that I'm right, but please don't be participating in the kind of discussions. It is bad.
Let me close.
I beg you, Mr.
Thank you very much. Robert, go ahead. 2 minutes.
Let me close.
Not a Rwanda 2 minutes.
No, yeah, no, I'm not gonna take that long.
And while Robert closing, let me tell the ENC people, y'all pay the platform because you're passing message. Jean is telling you she will reach out to you and all of that. Why she gotta use our platform to be doing all that?
That's right.
You gotta pay royalty to us.
Yvonne, welcome.
So let me close by slightly disagreeing with Seleke.
Okay.
And my disagreement with him is when he talked about platforms like our platforms projecting folks that he doesn't think is qualified to be president or even in that conversation. And why it is true that I agree with him, where I disagree with him is you can't blame uh, platforms like ours or anyone else in Liberia for projecting these names when in fact those who have the power, right, to project these names on our political discourse have done so through the ballot box. You know, if the people of Nima did not think that Koga, had what it took to be a senator, right, at the level Koga is, they would not have elected Koga. If the Liberian people did not think that Jeremiah Cohn was qualified enough to be vice president if anything were to happen to Joseph Boakai, then they would have rejected that. If the Liberian people in their hearts believe that the best choices were names like Alice Cummings, then they would have accepted that. If they believe that the best choices were Dr. Clarence Manuba, they would have accepted that. These names were rejected. And so when we're talking about these folks, I want you to put this in perspective. We are talking about them not because we believe that they have what it takes to be where they are, but they are where they are because those who have the power to hire and fire have made the determination that they are the best amongst the best to represent their interests. And this is why I also disagree with you when you talk about our leaders being disconnected. I think the disconnect word, it does not suffice. And here's why. Again, when people are disconnected one way or the other, is when in some instances where they cannot relate, right? The people in Liberia are poor people. Half of them are poor, not by choice. They're not poor by choice. They're poor because their government have a plan, or the power that be have created a plan, have drafted a plan to keep them poor. So they know exactly who they're dealing with. The people that they have elected were not rich people before they got elected. They were also poor. They came from the ghettos. They came from the slums. So if I come from the slum, how can I be disconnected from people who came from where I come from? That should be a motivation for me to get them out of the slum by passing laws, by advocating for things that will uplift them, right? That should be a motivation. What you have in Liberia are belly-driven people who, again, to Jerome's question, who have not exhibited or demonstrated patriotism because they don't understand themselves what patriotism is. One, they don't understand what the Liberia ideas are and their respective role of perfecting those ideas. They don't understand that. So connected when they come from where they come from. I could be seen as someone who is disconnected because maybe I'm used to a certain lifestyle and I've been out of Liberia since I was a kid. But even me, I still know what poverty looks like because my parents didn't was not born with silver spoon. I still know what it means to not have transportation to go to school. I still know what it means to not be able to go to a good school because my parents could not afford at the time to send me to a good school. So if I went to Liberia and I saw a kid in the street selling rather than being in school and I can help, I can relate. I can take that kid and say, you know what? You deserve better than this because I could be you. The people we have elected are not disconnected. I think they understand that if they are anything, they are connected because they understand the mentality of those that have elected them, and they understand where they are is where they want them to be. Because if they make any mistake and get them out of that mentality, if they uplift them, if they promoted them, if they educated them, if they put them in an environment where they understood their rights and their wrong, many of them would not survive in that environment. So the people are in the environment that they're in, and they'll continue to be elevated by that environment because they understand that the people who are the bulk, who make up the population, understood does not, they don't know their rights and their wrong. Do you think it's logical? Do you think it's logical or it's mental for people to be suffering year after year? They're suffering in poverty, right? They have no health care, they have no food, they have no hospital, they're dying from curable illnesses, right? But yet it's still after 6 years, when given an opportunity to elect people who could uplift them, they go back and elect the same characteristics of leaders. Do you think that that's normal? That's not normal. And these people who are getting elected by them, they know these are the folks that we're dealing with, and we will do everything we can to keep them where they are. Because if we make a mistake and change the trajectory, our time will be over. Our time in government will be done. And we, the decent people, the patriotic Liberians who know what is right and what is wrong, it is incumbent upon us to help change that mindset, change that trajectory, so that they are able to vote better, they're able to make better decisions, and they're able to understand what's good and what's bad for them. Those guys are not disconnected. They understand the voting population. They know exactly where they are. They want to keep them where they are so that they can elevate.
Thank you, Brother Robert. Can I clarify something?
No.
1 minute. I just want to clarify, Mr. Gayman. One second.
No, 1 second here. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, our all-star medical squad going to be here, headed by Ivy Tyler, Dr. Sumo Hobart, and a survivor, breast cancer survivor, Quita Kesset. They're going to be here, and that team is going to be led in by our own Tavina Cole. Tavina Cole is going to be here. She is going to lead this group here so we can discuss women's issue, women's health. And tomorrow, Dr. Mary Sermon has decided to join us tomorrow. She's on duty, but I will make sure she gets on. So tomorrow, guys, please tune in tomorrow. Tell your girlfriends, your sisters, your wives, your mother, your grandmother, your friends. Tell them tomorrow is Women's Day. We're going to discuss women's health tomorrow. I'll give you 1 second, Mr. Seleke, to make the clarity.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gayman. Again, Brother Robert, maybe you didn't understand what I was saying. But I didn't say the leaders that are elected, they are kind of disconnected from the people they represent. No, I think SB Don is making a comment there. Maybe you understand what I said. I said the leadership of the country seems to be, and the way the people act seems to be a complete disconnect. That's what I said, the leadership. For example, let's look at the crisis that resulted to the resignation of the speaker. I think it took about 3 to 4 months that issue was going on. Whatsoever that went on there, people going to RLG, renting.
Okay, your 30 seconds over.
How does that benefit the people? For me, that's a disconnection.
But you just said something important. You said the buses that came through. You said the buses that came through, right? No, 1 second, Jerome. You said the buses that came through, right?
That's not when I mentioned about it.
Listen, I got somebody on the line. Hold on.
There's no practical disconnect.
Your name and where you calling from?
Good morning from my end, and good evening from your end. This is Bewazi calling from South Korea. I just want to ask my brother Sidi a few questions. I mean, you live in Rwanda, and I think that country is very better. It's good. But I just want to ask you a question. You love Rwanda, right? And do you love the system of Uganda? You can put on electricity, you can run fine, everything can be good. But do you love the system, the Rwandan system? Do you love what they do in Rwanda? If you do love what they do in Rwanda, then that is the same system you want to put in Liberians and Liberia. Because everybody in Liberia have the right, the same way you have right to speak on this platform, that is the same way Mr. Gayman has right to speak about those people who want to contest. There's nothing wrong with it. I think you're just trying to be more or less being a dictator on the platform, now wanting other people to be projected on the platform. I think that is wrong. If that was happening in Liberia, I think even your political leader would not be accepted in the society because they've been out of Liberia forever. You understand me? So you need to know we have a democracy in Liberia. Today in America, in New York City, we have a Muslim, someone who was born in Uganda beside you there in Rwanda, who is mayor of New York. No one stopped him. The reason why they didn't stop him is because everybody have the right. Liberia, everyone have the right. But to the country you stay in, you go to school to, no one have the right. No. You don't even have the right to party up to 10 o'clock in the night. Then you come here, you want to project the same system on us on the platform. I think that is wrong. You still remain a Liberian, you are not a Rwandan, so you cannot stop people from talking about Koga or Kung or anybody who want to contest. I think it is the right. You need to desist from that ideology. You need to desist from that system because everyone has the right. The same right you have to speak. Do not stop anybody. Do not even call on anybody to say, oh, they need to stop doing this. It's wrong for you today. It's wrong for you tomorrow. Thank you very much, Mr. Gayman, for having me.
I think the caller misunderstood.
So can I respond? Or you're not giving me time to talk?
I'm scared to give you 1 minute because you're going to 1 minute.
The caller call, you thought of me, so let me respond. It's fair, right?
You got 1 minute now.
First of all, caller, I didn't stop anybody from talking about anyone. You know, the aim of this platform, you know, especially the different panelists that are here, all of us want change. Mr. Gayman is a member of the CMC. And the reason he joined the CMC is because he's looking for a new option for Liberia. I believe, you know, Mr. Nagbe, Mr. Johnny, and Brother Robert and the rest of the folks that come on the best, except Brother Tomalin and Peabody. We don't know what change. You know, but I'm not censuring anybody to not talk about Koga or the rest of the other people. No. What I'm trying to say here is this. We always complain that the Liberian voters, they don't make decisions, you know, on ideas, on the issues, and etc. So as a platform that is trying to do things differently, we can hold these people accountable, can talk about them, but at the same time, being able to educate the listeners in Liberia. If we come on this platform without telling the Liberian people what Koga and Jeremiah Kun are capable of doing for the country, and we just say because the popularity or the population in Nima County, they can be vice president. So what are we preaching differently for the people to follow? And also, you are wrong to say we can't party here after 10 o'clock. I didn't come here to party. If I want to party, I will party as long as I want to. That's the first thing you should understand. And so people in different countries, brother, they get their own way how they want to practice democracy, even in America. So, and the way you say we have been practicing democracy in Liberia for 178 years, how have that kind of system, people waking up and just talk anything they want to talk, how have they been beneficial to us as a country? Okay. The people you say that did not get right to say anything, they are doing way better off than you. They've been doing everything. You're free to talk. You're free to say anything you want to say. And that's why we have a small country. Because anybody can say anything.
We got a caller. Your name and where you calling from?
So I just wanted to clarify that, bro. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. My name is S.B. Don. I'm calling from Toronto, Canada. I'm sorry, I just got on the show not too long ago as I just walked in from work, but I wanted to buttress a bit of what Robert said as far as, you know, these leaders understanding or should understand, you know, everything that the Liberian people are going through. All of us on here, including myself. we all have our stories. We all have our challenges as young people growing up in Liberia. And I think those are things that have helped, put us in the position that we are today and groom us to be the individuals that we all are today. And so I agree with Robert that those leaders should understand, the hardship, the challenges that our people face. But here's what I want to add to it. As a healthcare provider, I've been in pharmacy for over 15 years. And I'm going to use my career experiences to kind of, draw some similarities to what, government is, even though it's two different aspects. You're elected as a government official to work in the best interest of the Liberian people. In my profession, I work in the best interest of our patients, right? So there is a practical aspect, and that's why I think Robert touched on a lot. Growing up in those environments, experiencing the challenges as young people, those guys should understand it because they've been there, they lived it. And like you said, many of them, or probably all of them, weren't people who were rich before they became politicians. They became rich after they became a politician. So I think the question we should be asking is why now, all of a sudden, they don't seem to understand the challenges. I think it's a psychological barrier. They create this psychological barrier of, I'm not dealing with this lifestyle anymore. That's it for me. I'm here now, and I'm going to live this dream that I have of being this wealthy man or this wealthy woman, and I will do it at the cost of anyone else's life. So it's a psychological barrier that these guys create because you will hear many Liberians time after time and say, as our people say, oh, these people then they're wicked. These people then they're wicked, and we cannot comprehend it. And the reason why we can't comprehend it is because we have not put ourselves in that psychological barrier where we forget where we've come from. And that's what it is. It's a psychological thing with these guys that they can live 10 meters away from a woman selling in the slums, and they have a mansion that is fenced up with electricity 24 hours, and they don't care. They don't seem to bother them. It makes absolutely no sense. It's a psychological thing, and this is something that is predetermined. It is predetermined that if I'm elected as senator, if I'm elected as a representative or president, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to block everybody out. It's a psychological thing, and this is why we see it happening over and over and over again, and we just can't figure out an answer to it. But we will get there. Eventually, we will get there. So thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. It's a psychological thing. Honorable Nagbe, take us out.
Nagbe, can you give me 30 seconds, please? Just 30 seconds. 30 seconds. I just wanted to just say, he asked a question. Why I said that when these guys get there, everything changed. Like it's predetermined, it's planned. And I think I answered that question in my last deliberation, which is they're poor. Most of the names that you mentioned, and it's not to say they're poor and they're in an environment that uplift corruption. So they're not looking at it because you don't go to public offices to erase yourself. You go to public offices to make an impact. But in Liberia, we go to public offices to make up for our very unfortunate lifestyles from infant all the way to adulthood. So they see it as an opportunity to catch up and erase themselves. That's the answer.
Thank you. Honorable Nagbe, take us out.
Well, thank you very much. It's been great being with you guys tonight. Telvi came on late, but we expect you guys will put up a great show tomorrow, Telvi. Thanks to our audience who have stayed with us. So this is about patriotism. I think it was Samuel Doe time when the term go back was popularized. And then Dexter Tayo came on. Dexter Tayo was on the Council of State, I think with David Pomankwa, and the rest of them. And he said there used to be go by chop, but now it's go by swallow, And basically what he said was in the Western country, there's corruption here in the US, but usually they would commit about 90% of the funds intended for a project, and they play around the 10%. But for others, the other way around. And basically, that's what I would say about patriotism. Country first, We have to learn to put country before ourselves. Otherwise, we'll continue to languish the way we are. It's not by accident that Liberia is where it is. We're just talking here. How can anybody make $15,000 in Liberia, and other people can afford $3 per day? Just in fact, I think the numbers are 100. I think $1.50 or something like that. But thanks for the show. Thanks for the opportunity. Look forward to Telvi and the team. She said there's going to be a male nurse.
Yeah, the male nurse. Tomalin is going to be here tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And we have a great lineup tomorrow. We look forward to it. I will be here bright and early. I will be like a leper. I'm going to be sitting in wait to see all
Let me just say this quickly, Jerome, just 5 seconds.
Politician. I mean, a professional other than politician. We're going to talk health.
Right. 5 seconds, real quick. Myean didn't get to play my clip on the bridge situation with the people of Bong. They expressing their frustration and disappointment. But if you didn't play, you can find out on my page. But the people of Bong have spoken out. They are not happy that the government is interfering with the CMC's desire to bring them relief. So that is all.
I saw that clip, and I'll share in some of the chat rooms that I'm.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, guys.
Mr. Nagbe, please quick. Sarah is making a comment.
You come late and you don't want to leave. No guy got to
go. I come in. Sarah, Sarah will back everything that has to do with Samuel Koga, because for them, they just want to win election and come back to power. She's there talking, say, I did mention that Samuel Koga name should not be mentioned. Do I have that power to make that kind of statement?
Great.
So Sarah, you need to calm down. You're the politicians. You guys, if you come out of power, you're not going to be.
Ruth Bamba, thank you very much. We're going to check it out. So, she says she's not. Is that Ruth? Ruth says she's not getting notification. There's a lot going on. Our YouTube page, notification, everything.
But at Facebook, she's following from.
Yes, I understand, but she's not getting a notification. She's supposed to get a notification. We want to say Ricky Young, 1800. Wow, that way back. Thank you very much for coming. Guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Stay tuned. Same place, same people, same thing. We'll talk about Liberia. If you don't want to be in the news, don't be in the newspaper, because you get in the news, we'll talk about it. Thank you.
Good night.